This is one of you, huh?
好，唐人，唐人，殺頭。
Oh, this is him dead.
唉，好，硬
And these two.
八怪佬嘅卡塞克，
Yeah, glad I taught you that fucking word. These are whites, huh?
喂卡塞克，
Two white cocksuckers killed him and stole the dope that he was bringing to you.
喂卡塞克，you switching，
The dope that you were gonna fucking sell to me?
喂卡塞克
These two white cocksuckers? Who the fuck did it? Who, you ignorant fucking chink?
，who？
Who stole the fucking dope?
卡塞克，
Hello,
Is that a
I am Billy
Deadwood clip?
Bossack, and I am joined by the Lord Otter,
Damn it, Griffith.
Frederick,
Yeah, totally not gay.
read out.
Did we just make a Deadwood reference?
Yes.
Hi.
And we're discussing Berserk Deluxe Volume 5. Oh boy. And here's the cover for the single volume. You can already tell what's going to happen.
You can
I
tell we're
see
streaming
in
on
for a
Billy's
very
channel.
lighthearted story tonight.
Yes, very lighthearted.
I'm gonna need some
No
meditation.
sadness or despair whatsoever. None.
At
All
least it
right.
has a happy ending, right? Right?
Sure.
Yes.
Or
Believe what you need to believe to survive this deluxe volume.
The mind has to find ways to survive, otherwise you go crazy, just like in the Eclipse, as we'll see.
Yep, this is our this is us finishing up the golden age with the eclipse and the aftermath of it, and then starting conviction. Otter, would you like to go ahead and give us like a little bit of a recap of where we left off?
yeah, so in the last deluxe volume, we were kind of leaving off with Casca wanting Guts to give her a very peculiar wound, one which she was asking for with some, let's say, eagerness. After they've both kind of done the deed, showed their affection towards each other, they are off on a mission to rescue Griffith as their new relationship kind of blossoms. Only thing is, after splitting their own group into two different subsections, one of them goes off to Midland's capital to begin the whole heist operation to rescue Griffith, whereas the other is kind of keeping post for whenever they reconvene and rendezvous. However, there's sort of a whole ordeal with fighters, demons, Kushan agents. It's a big, huge mess, and it goes from bad to worse once demons start getting involved. These apostles, with one particularly nasty one called Wild, which I will not go into too much detail here. Needless to say, though, after defeating the apostle in question and successfully rescuing Griffith, Guts and company found out that Griffith's body was beyond mangled in the year that he was kept a prisoner. What's even worse is that the Band of the Hawk knows this, and they seem directionless for the time being until Griffith, on the verge of ending his own life, he finds a peculiar object within the nearby lake, a bayolet, which he had kept by his side for several years at that point. With his blood mixing in and being in a state of utter despair, the entire landscape around them changed into something otherworldly, inhuman. And on top of that, the sun itself becomes covered up, often referred to in this particular deluxe volume as the Black Sun. This is the beginning of the eclipse, and right where we kind of left off last time with the last deluxe volume, everybody was branded as a sacrifice. Guts, Casca, Judo, Pippin, everyone. Griffith willingly sacrificed all of them to have them be devoured by this mass horde of apostles while he is being transformed into the fifth angel. And it is here where we continue in this very gruesome situation that we're dealing with currently.
Yeah, and we ended off with Rickard outside of the big tornado around the lake where the eclipse is taking place, watching the Skull Knight and Zod stare down each other. That's right where
Indeed.
we pick up on this one. We're pretty much. Hold up. We're pretty much Zod and Skull Knight talking.
Fuck Griffith.
Seriously, fuck Griffith.
Fuck Griffith.
Listen, he's
That's
been a
his
bad
whole
rating
stream
boy.
tonight.
That would be a great poster, man.
That is an
Griffith.
understatement.
Griffith, you are a bad Ricky boy.
Yeah, so basically, Skull Knight's like, "Hey, you're protecting the fucking tornado for me," and he's like, "Nah, I really don't give a shit about their stuff. I just wanted to fight you, you know." And Skull Knight just says, "All right, let's fight." And then we cut back into the eclipse in which the Band of the Hawk is just getting massacred by hundreds of apostles.
It's bad.
Casca doesn't know what to do. She's just fucking out of it right now. She almost gets hit and bit and killed, but
Ray's
Pippin,
gone. Bye-bye, Egon.
yes, Pippin shows up and saves her. And then Judo fucking comes and picks her up with a horse. they
And
start
can I just
riding.
say this now? Poor Pippin, poor Judo, and poor fucking Gaston, even though I know we're not to that chapter yet.
Yeah. Oh, but you know, Pippin's telling her to run and shit. Judo grabs her. They start flying off.
The Band of the Hawk has been through a lot. Like they've fought armies. They were the most fearsome and most feared band of mercenaries during their heyday, and now they're meeting their matched. They're getting wiped out.
It's well beyond their match here.
Yeah, this is not their match. This is highly disproportional. This is bad. It's very bad. It's gruesome. It's horrifying. Dear God, fuck Griffith.
Yep, and then when Casca's looking back, she sees Pippin just get swarmed by apostles.
And at
And
least
then
for a
we
few
cut-
chapters, we don't know what exactly happens to him. We only assume that it's not two good things.
Yes. Then we cut to Corcus, in which he's just watching men getting slaughtered. You know, he tries running away, gets slashed in the back. He falls down the fucking like face mountain hill. He's pretty much lost it at this point. Like he's literally thinks he's having a bad dream and it was all fake and none of it was real and he's gonna wake up. And then he sees a woman off in the background. And you know, I guess
I
I
mean,
guess he's gonna
That
take one
quote.
motorboat out of the series left, you know.
when you've gone crazy, you have nothing left to lose. And this is the last sight you see. It's probably a mercy compared to everyone else. That
His
said,
last words are "damn it." And by the way, that's the apostle from the beginning of the series, the female one that Guts was shagging.
Oh, really? That's a good callback.
Yep. It's a really good callback.
She looks
And-
like a mother alien.
Yeah,
we'll
there's a
talk
lot of
more
like
about
H.R.
the-
Giger influence
We'll
there.
talk more about the alien like influence later.
Which one?
Her demon form.
No,
It's
no.
very H.R. Giger, very xenomorph.
Yeah, but he was talking about another one.
Oh yeah, you'll figure.
There's
it
one
out.
of them
I'll
that's
find
literally
out.
like two tits on the side and a fucking nasty vagina in the middle.
Well,
Quite fucking disgusting.
if y'all haven't noticed, one of the main motifs for these demons is genitalia. There's a lot of it.
Yeah,
Yep,
they're all
lovely
perverted.
H.R. Geiger.
They're all also insect or animal based too, as well. Like every one of them.
Yeah, so
There's
do
a
you like
snail
bugs? Do
apostle
you
that
like
destroys.
animals? Do you like tits? Do you like demons? Well, I have good news for you and bad news for everyone else.
Who the hell are you describing?
I don't want to know.
Hold up. I hope I gotta share the screen. For the second one. in which you get to see some more horrible shit.
Let's take a look what's behind door number 2.
In which we go from bad to worse to holy hell, what the fuck am I reading?
You're reading Berserk.
That is
Yes.
true.
Strap in, boys.
In which we open up with Judo and Casca running away again.
What the
Possibly
hell type of
weekend.
creature is that?
I don't know. Don't ask me. But before we get to this part, Casca's literally thinking like, why, like Griffith fucking sacrifice, you know? Why'd he do it? And screaming to him and shit. And then we get that little turkey. Oh, we have another apostle who jumps out before that. After she yells to why Griffith done this, in which Judo's arm gets slashed. Then they get chased by this fucking chicken something.
In Soviet Russia, Thanksgiving turkey eat you.
That
Dude,
thing
he's
just
literally
walked right out of
look at
Chernobyl.
this. Look at this. It's coming out his ass, guys.
That's where McNuggets come from.
But you know,
That
Oh,
explains a
Judo
lot,
gets his
actually.
fucking arm shredded. He gets it absolutely crushed. Poor Judo.
Poor Judo.
And then they end up running some more, and then there's one that was just laying on the floor, a lazy fucking apostle that made them fall, you know, ate their horse. And then we got, I don't even know what the fuck this is, okay? Gonna be honest.
Also, can I just say that just imagine this whole quote unquote feast happening with these apostles all rushing in to eat the closest guys to them. And then there's just this one guy, he's like, nah, I'm going to lay down and just wait for them to come to me. I'm not even close. I'm just way over here.
Hey,
Yeah,
it
maybe I'll
worked.
get someone.
It's that causality stuff. They could figure it out. They knew that they were going to be there. So he's just like, I'm just
Well,
going
it
to lay
didn't
down
really
here.
work. All he got to do was eat a horse, not a person.
There's a
horse
huge,
leg.
huge variety of demons in there. Like he could have
But-
just made them all generic, but like everyone is different.
Yeah, but before we get there, Casca's just basically telling him, like, you know, we need to just go back and then die with everyone else. And then Yujo's just telling her to shut up and that they need to struggle to the end. You know, as long as she's alive, the Band of the Hawk is alive because she's the leader.
I don't think it can be understated just how much of a Giga Chad Judo is.
Yes, and it's so much. We're fixing to get to a really sad part. But, you know, this thing
Yep.
is about to hit Casca, and he jumps in front and gets stabbed, and then it starts whipping the living shit out of him. Oh, boy. He's just bleeding on top of her. And then we get his death scene. But before that, he ends up throwing his shuriken thing into the thing's eye, and then Casca kills the whatever the fuck that thing is.
And for those of us who have been following, I'd like to remind all of you that anybody who dies with the sacrificial brand on them, in the first deluxe volume, it's mentioned that everyone who dies ends up joining that hellish vortex full of conjoined bodies. Rest assured that they're not only dying horribly, they're also joining that in this scene.
Yep, and then we get this. I really love this drawing of Casca, by the way. Her face when she's screaming on the top.
Yeah, the noses are realistic at this point. Like it doesn't look like your traditional manga with stylized noses and all. Like he's got a pretty realistic look at this point.
He's also getting like his the way he's showing emotion and shit through his face's drawings are great. Look at that. But then we get to the really sad part. Oh boy.
Oh no.
So this was a little bit subtle throughout Golden Age of his kind of his feelings for Casca. He doesn't get to tell her the important thing, you know, before he fucking dies. Oh, Judo. Fuck you, Mira.
No, just
Why'd you
just
have to
fuck
make it
Griffith.
so
Just
sad?
fuck Griffith. It's all Griffith's fault.
It is all Griffith's fault. Fuck Griffith.
She would have friend zoned him anyway had he said it. So
Yeah, but you know, he
You
at
still
least
feel
shoulda got
bad
to-
for the guy.
Listen here, he at least could have got to say it before he goes to the vortex of souls hell.
Yay.
Oh, and we're fixing to get to the worst part.
Wait, is the Vortex of Souls Detroit?
Yes.
He's going to Detroit. Oh God.
Oh no.
Yeah, and Casca just noticed that a bunch of apostles, and they're really subtly drawn, guys. Nothing to take away from, especially this guy. The corn. And
Yeah, there's no comparisons to be made there whatsoever.
No.
Completely safe for work imagery.
yes, and then Casca takes the sword and tries to fight to the end, and the one just shatters on the one apostle. See if the sword does, and well, they're apostles. You know where this is going.
Even if this wasn't Berserk, it would still be a very bad situation. But considering it is Berserk and that they're demons and that there's a heavy amount of libido involved, yeah, not a good outcome
It's
by
enough
any
to
stretch.
lose your mind.
Yeah, I'm not sharing the final page of this chapter.
I
Yeah.
wonder why.
But think of Wild, yet there's no guts to stop it this time. That's what you ended up with.
Fuck Griffith.
Fuck him.
He was a bad Brady boy.
He was the
Destroying
Rady
people's
boy
lives.
who screwed everything up.
Well,
Okay.
I'm just getting
I see what's
depressed
going on.
now.
Technically, if Guts hadn't left, it wouldn't. None of this would have started. I'm pretty sure.
Well, it's all part of causality, so it was always going to happen no matter what.
There is also the matter of the cut chapter where some things are explained, and it's more than hinted that certain things were always kind of like preordained to happen in one way or another.
Yeah, so with the God of the Abyss, we're fixing to get the cut chapter next one. But we start out with Guts fighting with his broken sword from when last we saw him. And he rips off or breaks off the one apostle's thing and is using it as a weapon against the other apostles.
Yes,
he's
friendly
just going to-
reminder, Guts is just a freaking badass.
Also,
keep
look
in
at
mind,
these
too-
apostle designs.
Keep in mind, it's only been like maybe less than a day since he fought Wild.
And he was battered and bruised then.
Yep, and he is getting beat the fuck up during this fight, dude. Like he's getting knocked around. Then we see cut back to that's Rady Boy now. Getting turned
We're just not
into,
gonna call him Griffith anymore. We're just gonna call him Ready Boy.
Yeah, we're just gonna call him Rady Boy.
Rady Femto.
Yeah, I mean it's the most faggoty fucking name, Femto. He didn't even get to choose the name; it was chosen by him by the other goddamn.
It's like some type of hazing by the rest of the God Hand.
It's his punishment. Yeah.
Oh, he's the new guy. We're gonna give him the funny name.
Oh boy. Anyways, we cut back to Guts. Still fucking murdering apostles left and right, you know. And then
Those
we
are
cut
some
back to
intricate
inside
designs.
of
I mean,
Griffith's mind.
Just go back for a second. Like, look at the designs on those faces of those.
There's so many panels like this. It's like I feel like he was taking inspiration from a lot of different kind of like wide shot paintings that were kind of like done over the centuries. I'm trying to think of a few off the top of my head.
Well,
Yeah.
Otter.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say which one it is, but you know what it is. There's a certain page later on that is directly a Western. It's like his version, his Berserk version of the Western painting that was drawn by a dude who liked to draw a lot of imagery of hell, and had like
Oh
weird
yeah, that's
bullshit.
right.
But he does that. I love the apostles. I mean, fuck, dude. Like you get spoiled on it because like every design is unique in some way.
And all of them have like this is the best part of how the apostles are written. It's like their appearances will usually relate to kind of like their personality in some way. Usually. Not completely, but if nothing else, he will make them look very unique, have a very different way of how they're all kind of like lunging forward, at the very least talking, eating, that sort of thing.
Also, we're getting to like some of the best gore we've seen. But we cut back to Griffith, and he's talking. He's sinking further from the light, and he just keeps going down further and further. He's seeing the souls of the Band of the Hawk passing through him. You know, uh, this is what Griffith is seeing in his mind, in his astral body. And look at the fucking gore on this dude.
Especially this chapter, it's around these few chapters where it takes the concept of just insane gore and it kind of like steadily translate it into something abstract, and it's like very high concept. This is probably the perfect panel to illustrate that, actually. Just something like hellish and grisly, and it's kind of like shaping into something that actually factors into the very like fabric of creation. It's very creative stuff.
Yeah, and then we didn't take the screenshot of it, but the next one is literally him saying, he wished for it, he killed them. It's strange that he doesn't feel anything and that he's still sinking. And then we end up getting heartbeats, little tear things. Something's there. It even speaks to him a little bit. And we see Behelits coming up past him from this weird, strange, whatever the fuck.
That's just describing the whole eclipse. The strange, whatever the fuck. The strange, anyways, this freaking abomination. That's the whole eclipse. This whole abomination that cannot be described. It is Lovecraftian. You cannot explain it.
Yeah.
It's just there.
We're kind of like full-blown body horror style Akira, kind of like
this is freaking cosmic horror now.
Spiritual experience at the same time, psychedelic, like devils around him. This is like really dark psychedelic stuff.
It's basically taking a lot of ideas that Hellraiser had and a lot of H.P. Lovecraft ideas and just kind of like merging them into something that's just very abstract and very horrifying.
Yeah, and the last thing we leave on this chapter is Griffith saying God with this heart. Very, very lovely heart.
And just to kind of let everybody in the chat know, we are going to be going over a cut chapter that is technically not included in the Deluxe Volume 5. One, because Mura thought that it revealed too much. That said, there's a lot of interesting ideas and revelations in this next chapter. So we're going to be covering it anyway. And
yes, and
no matter
also,
what, the art is wonderful.
And not only that, it is also not contradicted at any point at the rest of the series. Matter of fact, it even hints more towards what he removed this chapter for. The problem is it was published and it was scanned. So that's why we have this chapter, like in full detail and everything. Oh, let me share it. Take me a little bit of time. But we have the idea of evil. Why don't you go ahead and describe this chapter, Arter?
Griffith is talking to a heart. It turns out that this is not just any old human heart, that this is the idea of evil. And how it is described within the context of the world of Berserk is for all the pain and war and suffering that mankind has inflicted upon itself. He looks for reason in all of this, some sort of a higher purpose. And there's a sort of desire there, an idea, and that idea coalesces into the idea of evil, which is what this heart is. This is the very core essence of a shared consciousness between all humankind that pulls together into this one being. It is a God created by humans.
Yeah, so this isn't really spoiler, but just to let you know, elves, fairies, any other astral being, the idea of evil are all made by human consciousness. They're not like... They didn't exist at all time. They existed because humans thought of them and believed in them at some point. And that's how we end up getting the idea of evil that wants to give humanity a reason for its suffering and cause suffering with the God Hand and the apostles. And then we get shit like this. Yes, and he's at the. If I remember correctly, he's at.
Can I use that in my philosophy class?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, he's at the. He's underneath the vortex, is he not?
I believe so.
I believe he's the one. He's underneath. I don't know. But we get fucking shots like this, in which Griffith is basically like, "Hey, what are you? Are you God?" It's like, "Yeah, I'm God." It's kind of. Oh God!
So
look
read
at
out.
this.
You said this reminds you of your philosophy class.
No, I asked, can I use this?
Yes,
See
go
the
ahead.
reactions I get.
Maybe with your professors, they might be like, "This is nihilistic enough that we can love it."
Yeah, here, let me
So-
describe the very core concept of nihilism, and you just show them these images.
I'm saying, do as you will. Here's the thing with the apostles. They're all forced to do evil. I mean, it is do as you will, but not really, because once you're reborn, you're compelled to do evil shit. You know, like you can't become an apostle and then like make a nursery or some shit and not eat them. You know.
Well, it's a sort of idea of all of this being preordained long before by the idea of evil, and it's also pretty well explained in this chapter that even Griffith's lineage was ordained long before he was ever born. It was just his exact genetic line, his parentage, all
Can I
led
let
to
y'all
him
know
being the
something?
way it was. What is it?
Y'all want to know something? Griffith has no cock. I'm telling you, it's been pretty canon throughout this entire Berserk. Griffith has no cock. What is
I
it?
would also like to note that he asked for wings and not something else that he's clearly lacking.
Yeah. Well, he gets
It's
that for
true.
some
This
reason.
man has no dick.
Yes. Oh, Griffith.
Wait, how does he do that to Charlotte then if he has none?
Well, she's a virgin. She didn't know that it was not normal.
What, he was just bumping against her? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
With the blood and everything? That doesn't
Yes.
make sense. That doesn't make sense.
He brought his strap on, you know. He had to get the job done somehow. His prosthetic hammer, you know.
Look at that fucking panel.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And that's why I believe that this chapter should have been kept inside this deluxe volume and not the prototype chapter.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But the prototype chapter will be getting there when it comes up to us. I have
we
some
get
very
to-
different thoughts on that chapter.
When we get to what was it? When we get to after we're done with the golden age, we'll get right to that because I want to get that the fuck out of the way. I don't like the prototype. I think he had really good editors help him fix shit, make stuff better.
You read the description for the prototype chapter. He wrote it while he was in art school, while he was in college, and you can tell it feels like a college project.
Oh, this chapter. Oh, sadness. All right, we cut back to Guts, and of course, he's still fucking fighting apostles. Matter of fact, he stabs this fucking bitch.
Look at the lighting and the shading on this.
Look at Guts' crazy happy face.
Frederick, how long do you think it would take to render something like this?
With or without like demonic powers?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think you broke Frederick.
No, I mean, this is. I mean, it probably takes more time to do the scenes with the castles and the armies, to be honest. Like, there's no background here, it's all white. And it's basically like hashing in the same direction with the shadows of the wings on one page with, one Guts jumping. But it's the creativity of putting that demon head on the back of that poor woman who seems to be like a sort of vessel for this parasite demon coming out of her back. Looks
Are you
great.
trying to say that she's she's being
Well, guys,
taken advantage
when
of?
when it comes to some of this detail, especially to the eclipse, it just kind of leaves me speechless. It's just like, well, this is happening.
Yeah, and Guts is getting beat around as well during this with all the other apostles. He ends up getting, he ends up like hopping off of different apostles, then getting knocked up to the side, and then stabbing into the faces while he's sliding down.
No battle has ever looked more hopeless.
Right.
Like they're
Yeah, that's a
surrounded.
good way of describing it, and it's about to get worse.
Yep, and then he splashes into a bunch of bodies and blood and shit, and he realizes it, screams, and then it's just like, hell, is anyone there? Is anyone there? Oh god. He's thinking of all his friends, even Casca eventually. And then poor Gaston, missing a fucking arm, just crawling over to him.
He's still shouldering it like a trooper, you know. He's doing his best despite the circumstances, but I'm
It's
going to
just a
give you a
flesh
hint on
wound.
how this ends. Here's an extra hint. It doesn't end well.
Yeah, our thumbnail has nothing to do with what happens to his fate. Anyways, Guts is basically asking what happened. He don't know, and then we get an entire speech from him, basically saying, "Yeah, it's as if we're like we're in the middle of someone's story, that someone wrote, and that he's just like a minor character." And then, oh god, his head explodes.
Isn't that the worst
Awesome.
death you can have, like in a book? Is you just before you die, you realize, holy shit, I'm in a story. And not only that, I'm a minor character.
The
He's
author
like-
is using me to make a point, a very sadistic point. Oh, fuck.
Have you guys ever watched In the Mouth of Madness with Sam Neill, the John Carpenter movie?
I don't know.
Okay, long story short, Sam Neill does not believe this author's stories are real. Turns out his stories are real, and he's writing for Cthulhu, essentially. And as Sam Neill realizes this, Vigo the Carpathian, no, I shit you not, Vigo the Carpathian is over there in the bar, and he starts rambling on about how, yeah, we're all characters in a story. We have no autonomy. In fact, I'm not even doing this. He's writing to put this gun to my head, and then he, does stuff to his brains, very similar to Gaston here. I don't know why. That's just what this whole scene made me think of it. Just Vigo in the last great John Carpenter movie blowing his brains out because the author dictated it.
It's poetry.
No one dies
Like
like
poetry, it
Gaston. No
rhymes.
one's head explodes like Gaston. Poor Gaston. Also, here's another sad part. The fucking apostle that comes out of his head, Guts doesn't even get to kill it. It gets away.
I don't think it's ever shown again in the manga.
Nope. And then Guts is like, fuck. And then he sees Pippin, and he's like, oh man, Pippin, my boy, my friend.
For me, this is the death that hit me the hardest. Yep.
That's how we end this chapter. Poor Pippin. He got eaten out,
He's an empty shell.
That's one way.
Eaten out by a
describe it.
very familiar character that we're fixing to show.
Hey, do you like getting eaten out?
Phrasing.
Oh boy.
Poor Pippin. Poor Gaston. Neither of them deserved what they got. Neither Judo. Oh god. The body count is rising, and it's only getting worse.
Wait, are we talking? Never mind.
Oh, it's fixing to get much worse what we're fixing to cover. All right, I gotta bring it up. God damn it. Alrighty. Time to cry, you bitches.
Prepare to cry.
Share the wrong one. God damn it. I clicked on the one. Hold up.
Yeah, Kahuna, this is that's exactly what happens. Casca gets away scot-free. Yeah, surely.
Yes,
Nothing
and we find
bad
out who
happens
was
to
the
her
one who
whatsoever.
ripped Yeah, the one who rips Pippin in half is the fucking Count from Black Swordsman. Oh, you fucking disgusting bastard. Poor Pippin. He got eaten out and then ripped in half. They
Well,
broke
that's
my
one
boy.
way to die.
And the Count tries to bite Guts, but it doesn't work. And then Guts is just surrounded. I think he's literally the only one of the only fucking members of the Band of the Hawk left. Surrounded by a shit ton of fucking apostles.
I can just imagine the publishers going, Mira, how many faces did you put in this panel? Yes.
Look at this poor dude right here.
Oh,
Oh
Mr.
god, this
Fish
guy.
Lips.
that's not where the human body's supposed to be.
And then well, we see Corcus's head in the mouth of the demon chick, and then the Count munching on Pippin. And we have like an apostle like has one of the Band of the Hawks members' faces peeled off and on his. And then we have this fucking lovely scene at the bottom. Oh boy.
Yeah, it's no problem, Kahuna. If you can join, that's great, but we also understand, man.
Yeah, then Guts is really pissed and was about to go attack, and then oh, that looks familiar. Can't be Casca. Can't be.
He's got
And this is where Berserk gets its reputation.
Yep. And then Guts immediately jumps into action. Like they're not fucking with his palm girl, you know.
That's a good point
Tomboy.
you're saying there, Lord Otter. I mean, I'm not sure what triggered that comment, but whenever I see these like dynamic lines making up the shapes, like it's a Berserk moment. Like the eyeballs are gone, everything is just movement and dynamic lines and shading and hashing. There is no contour anymore. He's in Berserk mode.
Yeah, and it's one thing that manga tends to do a lot, but Berserk is especially good at it, is emphasizing the movement and energy of a moment over over prioritizing the overall composition. And this is one of the primary examples. It's like the angrier Guts gets, the more abstract the art gets as well. It's more kind of like this abstract monstrosity of himself instead of the actual man.
Yes. Gee, this fucking 2-page spread looks great. It's just great. And then Guts is just getting hit left and right, trying to get to Casca. Look at the fucking expression on this dude.
He's just like embracing the carnage. Like his brain is not gonna get damaged. Like, you know what I mean? Like his mind, he's not gonna lose his mind the way the others are. Like he's just embracing the horror and just fighting in it.
For such a horrible moment, I gotta point out the actual panel layout is pretty stellar here. There's a clear layout of the action going on, and it's just each individual panel, it's just fucked up shit is happening, and you are there each moment. You're just wanting to find out what happens next.
Yeah, we get to find out what happened, how Guts loses his hand. And by the way, this apostle, his name is Borkov. That's his name. He's the only apostle to ever eat a piece of guts. Let that sit in. But before things get really, really bad they all stop because a certain Rady boy is turned into a faggy femto, you know?
Again, very alien egg shape. But there's no egg.
Yes, there's only this fuck. Oh, God.
Fuck Griffith.
Fuck Griffith. Also, we're taking the bird metaphors to a whole new level.
Yes, he is totally not Batman. I swear.
He is Birdman.
I am Femto.
He is Man of Darkness. And not Batman.
I am Rady Boy of Darkness. I am
No, no,
ready
no.
of the night.
He's no longer Rady Boy. He's just Faggot Boy, you know? He lost that nickname, of course, what's fixing to happen. And then we dealt with Birth Chapter.
Ultimate Kahuna says both egg-like and cocoon-like. Yeah, those are both good comparisons.
Oh boy. Well, the new Demon King is born. And they're all excited to meet their kinsman, Femfag. I'm sorry, Femto. In which we get Guts getting to see Birdman screaming.
Dude, that is exactly the baby from Eraserhead. I don't know if you guys have seen that film.
Oh, I know of it. I've never seen it fully, but I have unfortunately seen images, and yeah, Frederick's right.
That's the face the baby has.
Do you want to share, or do you not have a picture of it?
I don't carry on one on me, no. I could.
I mean, you can look it up and share the screen.
I could do that.
Let's do that. We'll
Eraserhead.
get to that. We'll continue talking, but we'll come back to this one.
Baby.
Yep. Then we got. Oh God. I do love the shot of like the silhouetted God Hand members on the hand.
Yeah, and just the composition of how it's all laid out. There's faces everywhere, and somehow there's just a really good balance of negative space. It's not too busy or anything like that. There's a very malicious order to this chaos.
Yeah, like my eye's still drawn to Femto. He's put perfectly where the page is. They're immediately drawn to him. And then I swear, guys, he's not Batman. Totally no inspiration of Batman at all.
I don't get too much Batman vibes from him. I mean, of course, obviously, you got the wings, the bat wings, but like he's got real bird feet, and his head is
Okay.
very different.
When we're saying Batman, it's just the funny idea of his costume joke, and also in this image that's straight up like Mirror looked at some Batman.
I mean, no
comics.
doubt, it's an inspiration. Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, here's that fucking apostle I was talking about. Look at this fucking pound of meat shit. Look at that.
Ugh.
Two mouths,
look at it. This is the one I was telling
faces.
Trippy about, like I think a month ago or something like that, and I was trying to look for it back when I done my first read, and I was like, yeah, this was like the most disgusting apostle design in Berserk.
Everything looks gross, but could you imagine how it smells if you were there?
Oh God!
Oh.
Please, let's don't engage the different senses in this one instance.
Coming soon, the special edition of Berserk, the 4D experience, complete with scent. If you scratch on Guts, you'll get to smell his sweat. If you scratch on the apostles, you'll get to smell. What the hell are you smelling?
$5 extra for smell-o-vision.
It's still sad as fuck because the next page when Griffith shows up, Guts is still like seeing him as his friend. Yeah, he doesn't realize the true horror of what's fixing to happen. He doesn't realize Rady Boy is evil as fuck.
Yeah, the betrayal has happened. He's already been branded, but he still doesn't know.
Yep.
Do we have any spoony clips for betrayal? Because that's how I feel right now.
Oh, I forgot this is the worst chapter. Oh no, the next one's the worst one.
Oh boy.
Oh. Once again, the apostle design's fucking fantastic.
Also, the person at the right, that is vagina face.
Anyways.
Ugh.
Oh, we get more apostles.
They ain't
There's
getting
hundreds of these
prettier.
bastards, guys. And they're all really silent because Femfag's here.
Yeah, nothing bad is going to happen at all. Trust me.
Look at it. He's still singing like his friend, and then he notices, oh shit. Hey, that's Casca. Casca and his arm is gone. Like, he's pulling on it now. It's starting to shred.
Another place where I think Mura just kind of like hits it out of the park with facial expressions. There's so many emotions going through Guts right at that moment, and you can feel all of it just by how he's gritting his teeth. Tears are welling up in his eyes.
Oh, yeah. Before we move, you know what's going down. Like Griffith is essaying Casca right in front of him. And
Kahuna, that's just because this is Mira really wanting to fuck with us. That's why. That's why every apostle looks like a sex organ.
yes, and well, Guts is he's stuck with his arm. His original best friend is raping his lover right in front of him. So Guts says, "Fuck it," he's gonna cut his goddamn arm off with a broken sword.
And let me phrase it this way: even a lot of people who have never watched or read Berserk know of this exact scene, and many of them will say the same thing. They do not want to check out Berserk, but they know of this exact moment where Guts is hammering into his arm with nothing more than a sword hilt, going, "Well, this is about as raw and visceral as you can get in a story."
Yeah,
And
here's
still
the
have to
thing.
be compelling.
So when I was taking the photos for Otter to screenshot, I wanted to show the one where like the tendons and all that are ripping out of his arm where he cut it off, but I couldn't because this chapter shows just about everything and is very very uncomfortable to read.
The chapter is written in such a way that you want everything to be over just as much as the characters do.
Yes, and it continues in the next chapter even longer. You're like, oh, he cut his arm off. He'll lose his eye somehow, and then he'll stop this. He'll stop this, guys. No. Let's move on to the next chapter. Oh, the
Such a
horror.
happy story. Nothing depressing here whatsoever.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
just
and after
helping
we
me
get
so much right now. The happy disposition right now, totally.
Don't be a Debbie Downer.
yeah, the next chapter was incredibly difficult to fucking screenshot because the next
The
chapter is
How best to describe it? The first time I read through this next chapter, I had to skim through several panels because I was like, "Oh, this keeps going. Oh, dear God, it keeps going. Please just make it stop."
Afterglow of the right eye. So you know he's gonna lose his eye, and you can see what the fuck's going on here. Poor, he just fucking wants to kill the bastard. He makes it almost to Femfag, but he gets put down by other apostles. And then while the scene's going on and everything, we have Slan who's sitting there talking about the beauty of all this shit. And Guts is being still forced to watch this. oh God.
No,
This
they're
is
like, no, you
horrifying.
get to see the whole thing. You don't pass out from pain. You must suffer. Suffer.
This
By the
is
way, Slan is like, she is, you know what she's doing during this whole thing.
I mean, not only would this be horrifying for anyone to watch, it also comes directly back into Guts's whole character with what happened to him as a child. So not only is he having to witness this horrific act, he knows exactly what she's going through. And
Yes.
not only this, she is also his lover.
And I can't show the pages, but she's fixing to finish, and he's drawing it with like little sparkles and shit, and she's realizing what's fixing to happen, and like fucking, terrified of it, fucked up. Also, there's kind of a parallel to when she going back to when she first woke up when he was starting. between the where she's about to say his name and then he kisses her, but it's the exact same parallel also with Charlotte from Deluxe Volume 3 when Griffith just like pounced on Charlotte and shit. Y'all not remember this? Yes,
Yeah,
no.
the visions he would have between the thrusts,
The what?
between thrusting into her.
I'm too busy looking at Kahuna's comments.
No, paralleling between how what fuck it. Anyways,
Spit it out.
Guts is the final thing he gets to see with his right eye getting pierced by an apostle. Is Casca just broken on the ground. And it's very explicit. He screams, of course, and oh look, hey, the Eclipse thing's starting to break. How odd.
You can also
look.
make the you can probably read a lot into this, but I like to think another bit of symbolism with Guts losing his right eye during this scene. It can be compared to sort of a twisted parallel to the Norse myths with where Odin loses his eye while meditating for knowledge and wisdom.
Well, he lost his eye from rage.
Yes, but he's also seeing the true nature of their universe and how fucked up it is.
True nature of his friendship with Griffith.
That too.
Yeah, but also his reality of his world. This is why he's like he really like kind of atheistic at the beginning of Berserk and as going forward. Because at this point, when you see all this shit go down, I mean, it's kind of hard.
Yeah, that moment when you realize that the higher powers in their world are basically the Cenobites from Hellraiser. It's gonna freak you out a little bit. Just a little.
But anyways, enough of this depressing stuff. Skull Knight comes right in the F in.
Anyways.
Did we lose Billy Bob?
Uh-oh. Well, this is not a ideal situation. I may have to take over.
So as Lord Otter tries to wrestle the controls from the crazy Mogwai, I just wanted to be aware that Skull Knight comes in like he's coming off of a freaking Meatloaf album cover art. It's freaking awesome.
Oh man.
Skull Knight doing what Skull Knight does.
Every time he appears, it's like a poster.
Every time Skull Knight enters the fray, you immediately feel it. And this is in this particular context, this is one area where I was honestly left cheering where Skull Knight actually comes in to intervene. I'm like, fucking finally, something good is happening.
All right, my internet decided to poop for a second. Is it working now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, where did I fucking leave off?
Skull Knight entered the fray.
Yes, and he immediately attacks Void and gets his attack redirected. And they share a longing look before Skull Knight goes hurtling towards Griffith and Casca and all them. He immediately takes out like 6 apostles with one sword stroke before this. He gets down there. Femfag tries to use all the heads and body parts of other apostles to capture them and turn them into like nothing. Skull Knight's incredibly fucking fast. To the point where a fucking God Hand member can't do shit. And then he runs off with Guts and Casca out of there. I do want to ask this question. So you do see Griffith gonna do the squashing on them before they get out, but he just pauses. He had to have had time to actually do it. Because it does point to like Griffith or Guts. So I'm wondering why he didn't. I mean, I know there's something later on, maybe causality or some shit. for
It
later
makes
on.
me
but-
wonder if Griffith chooses not to, or if he doesn't have power over Skull Knight and Guts. That's another potential theory.
Right. Like, I'm not trying to be spoiler for other ones later on, but it is a bit interesting, that he didn't squash. And specifically, he's putting a panel of Guts passed out and then back to Griffith. Makes me wonder. But then before that, we get Slan and then being like, they can't predict everything. They're not gods, and that Femto will bring about the Age of Darkness. Then we cut back to Rickard and them out there. Skull Knight shows up. He sees that Rickard has elf dust patch and just fucking throws Guts and Casca onto him. And he's like, kill him. Then we have the conversation between him and Zod. Zod's still wanting to continue their fight. Skull Knight's like, hey, can we pick this up another time?
And immediately from there, we realize that how Guts and Casca escaping the Eclipse in spite of all the odds, it's not only intriguing to the God Hand, it's enough to pique the interest of even Zod. Enough for him to say, yeah, I'll postpone our fight. Just because I do want to see what happens here.
Here's the thing. Here's the funny part. He laughs when he sees Guts, and he's like, "Oh, he survived." And he's like, "Very well. We'll put this fight on hold for the sake of his mad luck." No, I have to say bad luck. And then telling Skull Knight, "Yeah, this isn't no outcome to our battle. So it doesn't count." And then he tells them, "Oh, by the way, if Griffith didn't even sacrifice all of the Band of the Hawk, they all still die." Because even if the Eclipse didn't go through, they're surrounded by hundreds of apostles. No matter what. When it ends, the apostles are still there. So they're gonna get ripped apart no matter what, to be honest.
I agree, Kahuna. Zod lurking behind Skull Knight is pretty hilarious.
Oh yeah, and then Rickard basically talking about Skull Knight being better fighter than Zod. Oh, and keep in mind, Rickard has never seen Zod in his normal form. He's only ever seen him in his full apostle form. Just for something later. But we have Skull Knight. They're going off to a certain direction. No connection to something later. And then we have in the chapter with Zod.
Can you go back a couple of panels to where it shows Skull Knight? Frederick,
Which
this
one?
has always been a technique I've loved in comic style art here. Just the lights glowing within Skull Knight's eyes here.
Yeah.
I love that effect. I'm wondering if that's a surprisingly simple technique or if there's a certain
Can you
trick
zoom
to it.
in? Zoom in, enhance.
Well, let me try.
Yeah, that doesn't look like Zipatone. Like maybe he's working with just gray tones at this point. Could be anything. Could be Pentone. Could be inks. He's
Regardless,
basically-
it's a
yeah,
pretty amazing effect.
it works great.
Yeah, just something minor I wanted to point out. I love it whenever comics and a lot of pulpier art does this in general. But I think Skull Knight is a really good example of where you look at it and you're like, holy shit, this guy has an immediate kind of like presence to him. It's like Eudotus whenever he comes in. He's gonna make a difference. Shit just got real.
It's strange
Yeah.
to see like the manga faces are so stylized, and then Skull face is like super realistic skull.
Deadpan serious.
And we end the chapter with this.
In which we awaken to a nightmare.
Nice.
And
I love
oh,
the little the way the panels get shorter and shorter and seem to fall apart. Like the container is just also going crazy and haywire, and it's like the reader's going into a coma as well.
Yeah, I love it whenever manga does this well. It kind of gives that impression of like either like the action is fading out. There's sort of an implied passage of time. I love that.
Yes. He does it a lot. I don't know what other series I see use it a lot. To be honest.
I mean, you
But
see
we-
that in Spawn a lot, like the way the panels will just like seem to droop and then fall off, and like there's a lot of usage of that in Spawn.
And
But we
needless to
open up-
say, we are awakening to a nightmare, and oh, what a nightmare it is.
Yeah, we get this Guts dreaming of the Band of the Hawk going in a direction. He's like trying to warn them, don't go. Turn back. Please, for the love of God. Don't go in that direction. You're all gonna die. Then we cut to open this, and I really do like this one page.
So the Band of Hawk are basically like this.
The sun has gone to bed, and so must I. So long, farewell. Auf Wiedersehen, goodbye, 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 goodbye.
Oh, by the way, the 97 anime ends right when Guts is screaming after Casca just got SA'd. That's where the 97 anime ends. You don't have the whole part where Skull Knight immediately shows up and rescues him. That's where it ends for y'all on that show. And it is one of the worst ways to end that show, to have it beyond that.
Which is a shame because the 97 anime is very well beloved. It's just it has a terrible ending.
I'd love to know
Yes.
why they ended that way. Like, was it like the budget cut at that
Budget.
very
It
moment?
was already on like a shoestring budget, anyways.
I think they knew they weren't going beyond a season, and they didn't really want to add in the whole Skull Knight stuff and give false hope. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna keep doing this. No, so we're just gonna end it with complete despair.
Yeah,
'Cause
but I do love this fucking one.
They were
page.
probably feeling in complete despair as their studio was like losing money.
This shot does look great.
Oh
But
yeah.
Yeah.
Guts is waking up. I just
just
love this
imagine
little
the-
tiny fucking gag that we get right after this this horrible chapter of
2
Casca getting
pages. 2
violated.
pages after we ended the eclipse. Keep that in mind.
Yes, and this is Erica. She's the one that Guts was hanging out with when he was training in the mountain in the 1-year time skip. And she just runs up to him and immediately fucking hits her, falls on her ass, slips.
Boop.
And then Rickard comes in, and asks, what happened to everyone, and
This is the
Guts just
saddest
immediately
part
is looking
right
for
here.
Casca.
Yeah,
Kahuna
this-
brings up a good point. Without spoilers, what was the point of Griffith doing that to Casca? I think the cut chapter explains it better than anything else, which is part of the shame why it was left out, because it's kind of explaining the reasoning. You can see that it's like the idea of evil is inspiring this dark nature inside of Griffith. It's saying, oh, this like desire to do evil, it's in everyone. And Griffith responds, oh yeah, I can feel it inside of me as well. I think that's
hold
more
up, keep in
directly what
mind.
happens.
Keep in mind, when you sacrifice and become either a god hand or an apostle, you're literally told that you're ripping out your humanity and then replacing evil into your heart, allowing it to form into you. which is what Griffith is happening to him, like fully. But we find Casca, and well, you thought Sadness was gone. No, she's completely lost her mind. Guts is trying to get her to talk, and then she bites him, runs over to Erica.
To me, this is the
Casca has the
worst
mind
part.
of like a fucking 4-year-old now. She can't speak. She's scared of everyone. She can't remember anybody.
It's almost worse than
But
dying.
Sadness. What, Frederick?
It's almost worse than her dying. Like Guts is left with her, but she doesn't recognize him. He can't get close to her. And then,
Did you see the vortex that all branded people go to when they're killed?
well, okay, it's not worse than that. Good point.
Well, here's the thing. So, if I remember correctly, Mirror was actually done like an interview where he was talking about he didn't know whether he was gonna. He was actually glad to keep Costco alive because he was probably gonna end up having her get killed as well, but then decided not to. And this doesn't seem important now, but it will play into later stories and shit with Casca.
It ended up being a huge boon for the series from here on out.
Also, once again, I just love the Casca drawing right in her face. And her biting the fuck out of Guts' hand.
Yeah, she looks great.
It's drawn. That is drawn so fucking well.
What I love about these chapters is it shows you the eclipse was everything horrible that could happen did happen. Awakening to a nightmare, and the next few chapters show you, okay, all of that happened. Here's the aftermath of how they have to deal with it from here on out. And
here's the sad
especially
part.
for a lot of the subject matter they're dealing with here, it's just as important.
This is also sad because before this, like, Guts is like, it's over now. We're fine. And he's just getting smashed with the reality of being like, oh yeah, bitch, you've lost your entire family. You've lost your lover. You lost your shitty faggoty friend. You got nothing.
Fuck
And
Griffith.
we end the chapter with Guts' instead of his eye starts bleeding and crying and shit. And the mountains are starting to look good.
Oh, they start to look even better.
It's still not as better as Vagabond, but it's still pretty damn good. And we're almost done with Golden Age.
Almost.
Just a couple more chapters.
What a way to end Golden Age, too, on a very, very low point.
Yes.
And
I
love it.
As soon as you think you hit the ground and okay, well, we lost all this, it was horrible. At least we have Casca. No, you think you're in the safe zone. You're in the beautiful, peaceful mountains. Well, no, this is where you find out she lost her mind. She's not herself anymore, and Guts has nothing to cling to.
I would just like to reemphasize that just one deluxe volume ago, they thought things were hopeless and bad whenever they realized that Griffith couldn't move properly. Oh, how little they knew.
Yep, and we have Guts just running through the forest. He's having flashbacks to scenes with Judo, with Corcus. I love the Corcus one. It's just him being an asshole. That's all the panels. But you have, Pippin, like the scenes and moments with Pippin and all of them. With the Band of the Hawk, with Griffith. Guts is just going through some really bad shit right now. Also, he's reopening all his wounds. If he had a Behelit, he might sacrifice somebody.
You got a Moira effect with the Zipatone there in the first panel. It looks like he's absolutely like in terror. Eyes crying, blood.
Poor Guts. He just lost everything. Then we get this. I really love this fucking shot.
Dude, don't ask me how long it takes to draw all those fucking blades of grass.
But it looks so good, Frederick. It looks so fucking.
Well, this is one thing that Miura is exceptional at doing. It's like he's using the environment to kind of serve as a backdrop to a lot of these horrible things that are happening to Guts and everyone else. It's like there's a silver lining of beauty in spite of all this fucked up shit that's happening.
Yep, we're fixing to get to my favorite part. We have him looking up and then imagining Fag Boy. You know, Fag Toe. He's like, ah, that's a pretty faggy outfit. Yeah.
Guts is just
Then
looking from down below saying, hey, you look like Batman, but really shitty.
you look like Batman, but gay. But it's raining and everything. Oh, we just start getting all these little eyes and laughing. Oh, hey, it's the spirits. I fucking miss the spirits. The hecklers of Berserk. And Skull Knight shows up. And also, Skull Knight shows up. Skull Knight is not an apostle. Guts' brand or everything is not bleeding from Skull Knight. It's bleeding from the spirits. So you get that. He tells them from now on, this is your world.
Whoa,
The
look at
boundary
that
between the
scene,
mortal
man. Look
world
at
and
that
that of
shot.
the dead. The interstice. Otter, would you like to go ahead and explain? Because it's a long time before we get fully explained of what's going on. What the
Yeah,
brand is.
and I just wanted to say at first, this page here is this whole bit of exposition is metal as fuck. Going through the hellish reality that was the eclipse, waking up to find out that you were haunted, that you're being haunted consistently from here on out. And then Skull Knight pops in and says, yeah, this is your world from now on. If you actually want to make it out alive, you have to fight constantly from now on.
Well, hold up, right before we get to that.
Yeah, so the interstice. The interstice is the sort of like the intermediary realm between reality and the realm of the dead. So for anyone who's branded as a sacrifice, Skull Knight uses the analogy. It's like a torch shining brightly in the middle of pitch darkness. And so all of these spirits are naturally drawn to it like moths to a flame. They're all hungering after Guts's flesh and blood, as it's pretty well been offered up to them because of what Griffith has done. Besides, fuck Griffith. But needless to say, that Guts is in a very bad spot right now, and it's not ending anytime soon.
Also, you really like the reflections of the spirits possessing the water and the faces
Yeah,
and throughout it.
it's showing the kind of like entropic chaos lingering just underneath this kind of like beautiful scenery.
This is a good shot. Like, this is a perfect chapter shot, putting the characters like up on the top. It looks like a wide panel and just plants in the foreground. Like you were just someone in the field seeing this happen.
Yep, and he's a brand of sacrifice. This is always going to happen to him, and when he dies, he will go to the vortex. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
So Guts better stay alive as long as he can, and hopefully kill Griffith by the end. Maybe.
Yeah, Skull Knight gives Guts his fucking sword, which his sword has got fucking the entire hilt and everything has like the prickly shit on the grip and stuff.
And this isn't even the Dragon Slayer. Like, this is just a temporary sword.
Well, it's Skull Knight's sword, particularly.
Yeah.
Like, temporary lets him borrow.
Yeah.
To fight the water spirits, possessing the water.
You know, I actually never put two and two together that they were actually possessing the water here. I just thought it was raw spirits, and he was using that analogy to help kind of engage the senses. But no, it makes sense where they're supposedly kind of like possessing the water and using that to try and lash out to him.
Well, Otter, you know this later on, but this is like kind of introducing to you that the spirits can also possess. They don't have to just possess people and shit. They can possess trees, water, fire later, you'll see, and all this other stuff.
I wonder if any of this will be used later.
Yeah, he's been told it's his destiny Guts gives his best response.
Look at that, man. That's a fucking powerful shot.
Oh, there's. This is a great double page spread, by the way.
It really is.
You see, people? You see how his body is in the double page spread, not his fucking face or any of the other people's fucking faces. So because you have gutter loss
Exactly.
when you're reading. That's how you do a double page spread, guys.
You have loss, and it can sometimes be misaligned as well.
Yes, sometimes.
Yeah. So you don't want to
Albeit
put.
Berserk is pretty consistent with it not being misaligned. I think it's like every now and then there'll be a double page spread that's a little off.
That's more on the printer side, I would imagine.
Right. But most of the time it's like really fucking like consistent. Like you can even see in this one, dude.
Yep.
And it's pretty close to what these deluxe volumes are.
This is giving me some Ghostbusters vibes.
The four Ghostbusters just pop out of nowhere and like, hey, Guts, you need our help.
Hey, Guts, we're gonna go take down the God Hand. You want to come along?
Oh, God. They just get turned into the human centipede.
Don't cross the streams, Guts.
And then we get Guts' declaration of war.
Oh,
Fuck yeah.
My. You don't want him on your bad side.
Guts has nothing left. He doesn't want. We even get like a shot of him having a. I wish that we included this one, but it's like a Griffith's face and then Femto over it while Guts is thinking on the. Griffith talking about his should anyone trample his dream and shit. Talking about the friend stuff from Deluxe Volume 2.
Yeah, I think it was Deluxe Volume 2.
Yeah, should anyone trample that dream, he would oppose. He would oppose him, body and soul, even if the threat, and it's supposed to be if even the threat was me, as in Griffith.
His definition of friendship.
Yep, it. Guts is angrily fucking hitting spirits while thinking on that conversation.
Yeah, makes sense.
Well, needless to say, I don't think they're friends anymore.
Yep, and then the spirits just disappear, and then Guts is like, hey, where the fuck did they go? Like, is it over? Skull Knight's like, no. They found something else. They found another torch. And he's like, oh, fuck, it's Casca. How'd she get out of the cave? I don't know. Oh, also, the cave that they were in, Skull Knight doesn't know who Grotto is or Erica. It was just all circumstance. Like, it was just fate, causality, whatever you want to call it. It just so happens how this went down. And the cave specifically, it prevents spirits from being able to come in because it used to be an elf cave.
And there are many different forces of evil in Berserk, but elves, for the most part, aren't one of them.
It's like that Civil War meme. What kind of elf are you?
But, they're going to get Casca. And that ends with Deluxe, or not Deluxe, but Volume 13. We're not done with the Golden Age yet. We're fixing to be done.
Let me just say one more time, Griffith, go fuck yourself, please.
That was... Hold up, let me go back. 92. All right, we're fixing to get some more big things. Hold up, I gotta share. Windows. All right, there we go.
Yeah.
Well, that's let's say that's a much tamer bit of cover art compared to the last volume. we just looked
Yeah.
at.
You need to breathe. Like it's like breathing in, in breathing, out breathing. You need to change it up.
We start off with Demon Infant. Wonder what that could be
Oh,
referring to.
great.
I'm sure it's nothing but happiness.
Yeah, the spirits are just circling around Casca. They're not attacking her, not killing her.
She seems to be in a trance.
Yeah, Skull Knight's like something's wrong, and then well, she shot out something.
Oh yeah, this is the worst part of the whole book, I think.
Yeah, so once again, after Guts and Costco, after they banged for the first time, she got impregnated. After the stuff with Griffith raping her, it actually it corrupted the embryo, the baby that was being that was starting the birthing process and all that shit, and turned it into the little demon baby that we recognized from the first chapter of Berserk. The little
You want
one
to
that
know the
Guts
worst part of this whole thing?
What?
A lot of the Golden Age arc was heavily inspired by shoujo manga. And a lot of what's actually driving the drama in the Golden Age arc is sort of a love or friendship triangle between Guts, Casca, and Griffith.
Oh, you know what I forgot to mention? Before this, Casca's actually holding on to Guts. She's not even like scared of him when she's giving birth to the little guy right here.
Yep. And this child is a very perverted mix of all of them. So yeah, try not to dwell on how messed up and depressing that reality actually is. But
Yeah,
it is significant, strangely enough.
yeah. Guts tries to immediately squish it, and then
This is bad.
Skull Knight's like it's her child, because Guts is trying to tell Casca to move. He's like, yeah, she was with child. It was only just conceived. Was possessed by evil because of Griffith, and it's taken on the nature of a demon. Not exactly true. It's. I'll go ahead and say this: the baby's actually not evil.
It reminds me of Guts when Guts was found, like the same predicament, like the worst fate.
Oh yeah, I think that parallel's intentional.
I
So I
never
also
thought of that
love
actually.
this. I love also Guts like recognizing real quick that like while Skull Knight keeps fucking talking, he's like, shut the fuck up, because he's realizing that's his child. That's his and Casca's child that got corrupted by Griffith. So just another fucking kick to the balls from Griffith from the Eclipse to Guts.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he immediately grabs the little baby because it's licking off the blood on her brand. And then Casca, of course, is going to fight him for the baby. And then daytime comes and the baby disappears.
This whole bit is just fucking heartbreaking.
Yep, and then basically Skull Knight's like, yeah, when sunlight hits any of the spirits, that's when they'll have to leave. As long as it's darkness or as long as it's raining or overcloud and cloudy, they can come out. And of course, nighttime.
So you're saying she gave birth to a spirit then?
No, the baby is corrupted. It's still technically human. It is Guts and Casca's baby,
Yeah, yeah.
not Griffith's.
I got you. You did a DNA test or?
No, we 100%. No, it's Guts and Casca's.
Because Griffith has no dick.
Yes.
This is true.
It is known.
Yep, and then Skull Knight's like, yeah, we'll meet again. And calls him the Struggler, his actual title.
We'll use something else.
All of this happens. Skull Knight is just like, peace, yo.
Yes, he's
I'm
like,
out.
we'll meet again because destiny and causality.
We'll meet again. Don't
I think we're on the
know
final two
when.
chapters of
Don't know
Golden Age.
when.
arc has been so great. All
And
right,
they
hold
lived
on.
happily ever after.
Yes, nothing bad will ever happen. Black Swordsman was just an imagination.
It was all a dream.
We start off with arraignment, which, well, you know it's going. We end up with this pig apostle who's smelling for sacrifices. He's, God, this fucking dude's so ugly. Like, that's just his normal form, guys. It's not even his apostle form.
And even then, just regular farmers are going, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, and then they're also like, man, the sun vanished. That's like an ill omen. Because it's only been 4 days since the
Eclipse, right?
yeah, after the eclipse when we wake up, and I think it's been like a month now or something like that. In
Hey,
between
who's this pig face dude on the side of the road? I'm
Yeah,
sure
why
it
is he
has
smelling the
nothing to do
ground?
with the eclipse.
Yeah, why is he smelling the ground? And
Yeah,
then
why is he whispering sacrifice over and over? Yeah, weird.
I do love this with Erica. So we cut to like Gordo or Godo working in the uh, his shop and shit, and then Erica just goes in there and is feeling for the key so she can show Rickard their all the stuff he's made, the storeroom and shit, storage. And then we get to see a cannon, a crossbow thing. Oh, and an arm.
Foreshadowing.
I'm sure none of this will come back later.
False.
Oh, and what's that? What's that beautiful little sword there? That little tiny sword.
I've seen that before.
The Dragon Slayer.
It's dangerous out there. Take this.
And I love the backstory to the Dragon Slayer. A king said he wanted a sword that can kill a dragon, so his lord put him to the job. He got tired of doing the noble swords and shit. So he said, fuck it, all right, I'll make it exactly what you want. A sword that can kill a dragon. And he made this. And the Lord wasn't too happy, you know.
Because the sword
he
is
made it.
unusable by a regular man.
Yeah, he's literally like he's like yeah, you or what Rickard's like, can it kill a dragon? He's like, sure, if dragons fucking existed, you know. What was the exact word? If there were any dragon,
Similar. If there were any dragons to kill.
dragons are dragons because humans can't beat them.
Right. And it eventually adds on to that analogy. So what's a man that can kill a dragon?
Guts.
Yep.
And then we cut to Guts practicing with one arm and a not that big of sword.
That's another thing he does well. Like the progression of the character. You see him train from his childhood. You see him evolve. It's like you see him earn every ounce of strength and talent and skill that he uses in his fights afterwards.
Yeah, just to explain how much Casca's like reverted to like a 3 or 4 year old and kind of retarded. She's doing that. She spills the soup shit on her. Guts accidentally rips her shirt and shit, and then kind of doesn't do a good thing.
Accidentally.
Things
he's
don't
fixing to
exactly
start-
go well.
Yeah, he tries coming on to Casca, and then she immediately pushes him back and is running away. He's
Well,
you can
how
see
I
how he's
always
just
kind of
out.
took it is it's more just him trying to see if there's still that part of Casca within her, the part that loves Guts. And he
Right.
learns rather quickly that it's not there at all.
I think he was just turned on.
I mean, you got to see some Casca titty, okay?
I mean, what would you do?
It's definitely a shame. We get Guts in his black swordsman outfit. And I love this little
Hooray!
comedy bit. I love how they're like, hey, Guts. They're trying to tell him how to use the cannon and shit. And then Godo fucking walks through and we get this. They're just happy he didn't press the fucking thing and then blow the blacksmith away.
Probably for the
Well,
best.
and then you got Godo being like, yeah, he'll just make Rickard work for the cost of food and arms and shit. And
I
also
also
he gives
love the
Guts-
little bit of humor here where it's just subtle delivery of Uri kind of like going across the panel. I'll make him work for the cost of food and arms. Rickard's just going, what? And then you have Erica just shouting, yip yip hooray. Hip hip hooray.
Well, Godo gives him a new sword, a little tiny sword, and he'll never have to sharpen it really, and it shouldn't nick at all.
Sure.
And then the apostle shows up and he's like, this fat fuck, he's saying leftovers not good.
Oh, he's so fucking gross. Look at that.
Oh, it gets worse.
Oh boy. And we're getting to our final chapter in Golden Age. I love this art. But let's finish this up and then we can have our full thoughts on Golden Age entirely.
So I want to ask everybody in the chat, do you like pigs? Do you like pork? Are pork chops tasty? Do you like ham?
I mean, I
do.
like having bacon for breakfast.
I do too. Well, you're never going to look at that stuff quite the same way again after this chapter.
Yeah, I also love this chapter's name, He Who Hunts Dragons. But, you know, their brand is responding to an apostle, as it should. And here's the pig apostle. And Guts, boy, he's really fucking happy that he's gonna get to hunt one. Oh, before we got to this, Rickard wasn't wanting Guts to leave. Rickard was basically like, the Band of the Hawk's gone. You know, there's no reason to go out looking for revenge. You know, stick with us, stick with me, stick with Casca. And then Guts kind of just says, oh no, we are the last Band of the Hawk, you know, so take care of Casca. He doesn't really want to stay there because the pain of Casca and shit, of seeing them and all that. So his whole plan was to leave and hunt the apostles, but one came to him. So he's really happy. And we get this.
We get the iconic 2-page spread that's been used in so many YouTube thumbnails.
Oh, what was the one? Someone turned it into a Minecraft meme. I showed you drawing. And it was specifically using this one.
I'm not surprised.
So, Frederick, you were talking about when he goes crazy.
Yeah. Even this panel is not all 100% because you have a little bit of outline near his nose, his cheeks. But look at his teeth. Look at his cape. Like there's no solid outline anymore. Even his hair goes ballistic. Like his jaw. Look at the way his jaw is flexing.
Jesus fuck. It's so good. But he immediately fucking slices into the pig apostle's face. He is going to town on this bitch. His sword ends up breaking because Godo is like freaking out because he's never seen an apostle, and he's also like, yeah, the sword wasn't supposed to like break as how many humans he killed, but it was never meant to fucking like take on, you know, monsters and shit. So it breaks pretty fucking quick.
And this is Skeleton Boy's sword again, or did he give that back?
No. This is the one Godo gave him. He was only borrowing Skull Knight's sword for a bit.
For a while.
Godo gave him a basic bitch mercenary sword.
And that's the one that's breaking. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and then that's the one that broke. And then Rickard tells him, hey, use the fucking cannon. And then look. I love this. I love the fucking eye right there, if you can see where my mouse is. I just love that it's popped out. This one's almost popped out. He also chopped off the dude's arm.
So for context to readers, he also ends up using the sword that Godo gave him to try and like slice him in half. He succeeds in disemboweling the pig demon. The thing is, the pig demon don't give a fuck. Even with its eyes popping out, its whole back half blown to smithereens and its intestines hanging out. It's still lumbering forward because it's hungry.
Oh, and Guts's shoulder is popped out of socket.
Oh yeah.
Because Rickard put too much gunpowder in the cannon.
4 pounds of C4, maybe a little excessive.
But look what Guts has noticed on the wall.
Tom, Tom, Tom.
Oh, and he just God, look at this.
Holy shit.
Look at the fear in the pot. Like the got the already fucked up face with smoke coming out.
Hey, this
Then
is
he
whenever
starts
we
to
get the real catharsis of this is the return of the Dragon Slayer, and yep, we're glad it's back.
And the sword doesn't get stuck halfway. Like, it just slices like butter.
So like Frederick before, like the last Deluxe volume in Golden Age, like the Prison Break, we were getting like the style of like Black Swordsman crazy shit. But he still didn't have the Dragon Slayer, so he still wasn't slashing through this. And then we finally get the Dragon Slayer. First of all, look how long this fucking sword is.
Boom! You don't even. It doesn't even fit within the panel.
Right. And dude, he fucking cuts the goddamn apostle in half with one strike. And this is so damn good, man.
Not only that, the sword gets jammed in the ground. Like, it did not stop while slicing the apostle.
Oh, look at this.
And look
course,
at the
Dutch is still being a little bit of a smartass with
look at his
Godo.
smile. Look how happy he is to have found that sword, man.
He said, "You held out on me, Godo." And then Godo is just fucking shocked that somebody can actually wield the fucking thing. And then we end Golden Age with the shot of Guts going off to hunt more apostles.
Nice.
The end on a very optimistic, in quotes,
Groovy.
note. Groovy.
As Guts always says, groovy.
So, I want to get y'all's thoughts on the Golden Age overall. Read out.
Yay!
I can't say anything more that hasn't been said. This is one of, if not the pinnacle of storytelling when it comes to either graphic novels or animation, if we're counting the Berserk 1997 anime. The entire Golden Age arc is iconic.
Yes. Frederick?
Yeah, it really is a page turner. Like, it keeps you engaged from the beginning, because first of all, you're coming into the story after being traumatized from the initial story, and then you're going to so this is basically the backstory, getting to know their childhood, what traumatized them, what shaped them, so you find out what they're made of, like what they're really made of at this point.
Okay, can I ask you this question? Do you feel like we've wasted any time in the story by going through this backstory and this entire prequel?
No.
No, I
Nope.
mean, this is the reveal of the characters. You needed this at this point. I think it came in just the right moment.
The reason why I'm asking, because I saw one dumbass comment on like a different video trying to say that the Golden Age shouldn't have been this long and that was mostly useless stuff. And I was like, I don't know. This really sets up our characters, our motivations, you know, even stuff for later. I mean, I don't think you would hate Griffith the way Guts hated Griffith when we first saw him in Black Swordsman. And now we understand. Now you really get an idea of why Guts fucking was going through everything he could just to try to hit Griffith in
This man is fueled by pure vengeance to avenge what Griffith did to Ban of the Hawk. That is the only thing at this time, and how we saw Guts at the beginning of this manga. That's what's keeping him going. You must feel it 100% to believe that a man can be fueled by pure vengeance on that caliber.
And keep in mind, so Black Swordsman takes place 2 years after this. So 2 years of Guts battling spirits and apostles before we meet him in Black Swordsman. So you take all the trauma we have here, add 2 years onto it of contemplating it, and kind of becoming a little half crazed. Also, it kind of explains why he doesn't want people close to him, like you saw in Black Swordsman, because he just lost his family. He lost his family. The finally getting close to people when he gets it taken away
See,
immediately.
that's the interesting thing is this character has taken damage on all fronts. Like obviously physically because it's a very violent book, but he's like his whole origin with his family is just horrible. His friendships, as soon as he builds a friendship, he gets betrayed. His love is immediately betrayed. It's like he gets violated on a spiritual level. He gets damaged on everything, all fronts. Like he is so broken by the end of this arc. Yet he's still striving forward to do the only thing he does really well, which is fucking destroy apostles, kill demons.
Yes. Otter, do me a favor.
Yeah,
Write 95 down.
95.
Yeah, because I'm gonna write 95 down, and then I want you to give your thoughts on Golden Age entirely.
All
Because
right.
after this, I'm gonna go through we're gonna get through the prototype chapter. I do not like the prototype chapter, and then we can start conviction.
Oh, the prototype chapter. Yeah, I've got it written down. I'll go ahead and sum up my thoughts with this. Whenever you're first introduced to Guts in the Black Swordsman arc, it can sort of seem like he's sort of like an edgelord stereotype at the very beginning, before you know anything about him. And the natural question is, what happened to this guy to make him so bitter and cynical, so distant from everyone else? The Golden Age is written to such a high degree of quality that by the end of it, you are pretty much saying, "Oh yeah, I'm surprised he's not even worse than this." If you go through that, anybody is. If you survive through it, all of this that he went through, yeah, it makes perfect sense that he is the way he is.
He's actually very functional for what he went through.
Yes.
Right,
He
but he
still
is going
has a
down.
remarkable degree of strength of character for him to not lapse into complete insanity.
Well, when we get to the conviction, when conviction starts with lost children, you are going to start seeing the logical conclusion to how he's been since Black Swordsman, the way he's going through with his life. It ain't good. But before moving on, let's pull up the prototype chapter.
Pull up.
So, yeah, my thoughts on the Golden Age arc were almost unending praise. Prototype chapter, on the other hand, that's a bit of a different story.
Sometimes you just need a good editor and someone to say no.
Well, it shows that Mura's human like the rest of us. Not everybody makes a home run.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was in 1988. It was a year before the actual original first chapter, the one we end up getting. In which I will give him credit. His skeletons are still pretty consistent, and I do think they're still good.
There's still a fair amount of DNA that ends up going into some of the earlier chapters of Berserk, and despite some of my problems with how he draws faces, the artwork is actually still at a pretty remarkable degree of quality.
Yeah, so the biggest difference is the story. Puck and Guts are already friends. Instead of Guts saving Puck at the beginning of the story, he's saving this little girl from getting berserked.
That's a good way of describing it.
And then this is a very reminiscent of in the original first chapter. Instead, in the original first chapter, it's a double page spread of him cutting the dude open in half that tries to sneak up on him. And this one is just one page. I don't like the Dragon Slayer. It's got these stupid little wing things you can see. I won't get to them.
There's a bunch of issues with with that chapter, but I'm glad to see it because you can really see how it evolved. You can see where his ideas were at first, but they weren't fully developed. You can see where he saw the issues with his first draft and pulled back on some things, especially Guts's face. Look at that at the bottom left. Like, that's just hideous
By the
compared
way,
to what we got.
that's not even a comedy panel. You think, oh, well, it's just drawn like that because it's for comedy's sake. No. His face is like that normally in this prototype. Look
He
at it.
looks like a cartoon character compared to the Guts we actually see now.
Yeah, and the story is he saved the girl. The girl was on to go to the Lord's village. The dude is basically Vladimir the Impaler. He's the one who's putting people on fucking spears and shit, and then he's having people give the little girls up to him so he can murder them.
So
And it
basically,
happened 10 years ago.
this is a historical figure in the story in the prototype. Like Vlad the Impaler is a true
No. He's not actually Vlad the Impaler.
Okay,
That's
he's
the thing.
another Impaler. Okay, good.
There,
He's just very much inspired by Vlad the Impaler.
I mean, in fairness, there's a lot of components of Berserk that aren't one-to-one with our history, but are very close to it.
No, I'm just saying what this apostle that we're fixing to see. And they're not called apostles either, and there's no God hand.
It's
The brand of-
Vwana, apparently. Instead of the idea of evil, they call their dark god Vwana.
Yeah, and there's no God hand. There's no mention of God hand.
That's the big difference.
Guts'
No God hand.
backstory is his mother was ripped apart by demons in front of him. That's his backstory.
Okay.
This Castle Shark's actually not bad. I don't like the
You know how
Watch.
good Berserk is if that backstory for Guts being in the prototype sounds really lame.
Yes. And then here's he's basically the mix between the Count and the Baron, kind of. With his whole thing, even his design. He turns into this.
There's something with this prototype chapter that I've noticed compared to the other chapters of Berserk. Because if there's one thing I absolutely adore about Berserk, Berserk has a great way of showing its themes to you rather than telling it directly. And whenever they do kind of like approach the themes, it's like they're usually making some analogy that's saying it without actually saying it. This, on the other hand, there is a lot of telling rather than showing, especially
Also,
in the dialogue between.
he gives his eye patch to the little girl because before he left, the little girl
Who
wanted
does that?
a token from him.
Who gives an eye
Kind
patch?
of out of nowhere.
It's the grossest thing you can give someone. It's like
Such a romantic gift, you know?
it's like
Well, I
does it
wouldn't
have-
say romantic. The girl's like fucking 12.
But like the eye patch, does it have pus on it? Does it have sweat? He just oh my god, it's so
He
gross.
farted on it, and then he said NDA.
I like how she's just randomly got the hots for him. He gives her his eye patch, and she's like, "Oh, it's such a great gift."
By the way, she has the hots for him, and during this entire time where her family's talking to him, he's just fucking going, "I'd like another beer, please." And then fucking, oh God, I hate Guts in this prototype. I'm so glad he was changed. But he kills.
He looks like his own porn parody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He by the way, he kills the fucking demon dude the exact way he kills the apostle. He shoots him in the face while he's monologuing and then cuts him in half. And once again, this isn't bad. Like the apostle design is pretty still good, you know. Especially since this is real early Berserk.
Yeah, the
Draw.
apostle actually looks good. Like I was gonna say, this one looks like it has more texture on the skin than a lot of the apostles we see early in Berserk. Like this is a well-defined one. Look, it's got fur, it's got hair on the legs. It's pretty well detailed.
Right. And then instead of the brand of sacrifice is this, instead of it being like the angler design, it's more of a smoothed out one. It's on his chest and not on his neck like it actually is.
This would have posed problems. Every time you wanted to see the sign bleed from an apostle in proximity, you would have to have him bare chested each time.
It would well, he could do like a kind of zoomed in and like the clothes are faded black and then you can like it
Yeah,
like it's doing like an X-ray vision. He could have done that, but
it would
it's
have made
better
it
to have it on
harder.
the neck.
Yeah, it would have made it a bit harder. And since it's something you see many times in the book, you would have started to lack variety if it was hidden under his chest, I think.
Yeah, instead of how the Baron died in the actual first chapter we have with fire, he just gets smushed by a rock, and then we end it with them leaving. That's it. That's the prototype. I'm glad that he changed up quite a bit from this to the actual original first chapter.
I'm glad I could read it to see the differences, to see how it evolved, but this wasn't the place to read it.
You can tell that he's still figuring out what exactly he wants to do with Berserk at this point, because there's a lot of lore changes that's going on between this and the subsequent chapters that are actually being published. The character of Guts and Puck, their whole dynamic is very different.
When did Hellraiser come out?
Let me look it up. I don't know the
I want to
exact
say
year.
87.
I feel like he had to like just now watch Hellraiser, because the first chapter, also the chapter we got, the actual Berserk,
And the
it does
prototype
leave
is from
enough vague.
88, reportedly.
It was 1987 when the movie came out.
Yeah, that would line up. Hellraiser's 87. I think the prototype was written sometime in 88. Yeah, that'd line up.
Give it time to get translated.
Well, I think he
and
must have really
go to
taken
the
interest in
Japan.
after this prototype, because this one pretty much there is no God Hand, and the God Hand is very much inspired by Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Yes, I said 95, didn't I, Arthur?
You open the box.
I believe so.
Let me make sure. Yes, I did. All right, then we get to start on to my favorite arc of this series.
Woo!
Back to the good stuff.
Yeah. Hey, before we continue, I have to announce I am gonna have to bounce out. There is no much more, not too much. I look like my soul is like Pippin right now at the end of the Eclipse. What I will say is briefly before I bail out, I really, really have enjoyed so far what we've seen from just the opening of the Conviction arc with the Lost Children. Really enjoyed. I could just describe it. It's nice to be back in the fun and games, what Berserk started out as. It's been so long since we got so used to the Golden Age. It's like, oh yeah, this all boils down to Guts going around and killing a bunch of demons.
Yeah.
Yes, this is picking up. Conviction were I'd say like a month after Black Swordsman. It hasn't been that long.
My soul is basically Corcus right now. Basically just lost it. I've gone insane. Dreaming of boobs. That's the life.
Well, he wasn't dreaming, but they weren't they weren't normal boobs.
The
They
thing
were
is,
very extraordinary boobs.
if he died not knowing, he might have had a happy death, but he realized it was right before he dies. He's like, damn it.
I'm with Kahuna.
Bigger, but really disgusting looking.
There is kind of like I said whenever we reviewed Fourth Wing, there's value to reviewing bad stories or those that aren't exactly like top quality. And the prototype chapter for Berserk shows you how Miura had to learn a lot of the same lessons that a lot of us are either have or are learning with our own creations.
And his in this case, you can compare the bad version versus the how to do it well, incredibly well.
Yeah, and Miura is one of those creators where most people would agree that he is a master storyteller. So it just shows you that we're all learning the same lessons in different ways.
Yeah,
I do love this chapter page.
All right, guys. Have a good night. I'll probably for Deluxe Volume 6, because we still have like a third of the Lost Children to go through when we start with Deluxe Volume
The
6.
last half of Lost Children is
Okay,
next.
so I'll
and
all right, I'll be able to give you my full thoughts then on it. Enjoy the carnage.
yes, don't look at my profile pic. It describes nothing.
Nah, it doesn't give any spoilers away. Nah.
Yep, but we open up Conviction with the Lost Children chapter. Lost Children chapter I describe as your bridging gap of getting you back into a black swordsman mindset of guts and kind of the story. It does set up some characters that will be important through most of Conviction. But we open up with this little girl and daughter, the Holy Iron Chain Sea Knights.
And this is Farnese, right, of the Holy See?
Yes, Farnese is the leader of the Holy Iron Chain Knights. But they arrive at the aftermath of the eclipse with just body parts everywhere. And
Worst
it's
timing
part of
ever.
their religion that when the fifth eclipse happens, the fifth time the sun is blotted out, the Hawk of Darkness will show up. You know, the Red Lake has appeared. You know, shit's going bad. And this line is very important. The master of the sinful black sheep and the king of the blind white sheep for later on.
Oh, Kahuna, just wait until the Millennium Falcon arc. Then you'll see just how long some of the stories can be.
Oh, yeah, Golden Age is the second longest arc. Conviction, I think, it's not that long. But Millennium Falcon is like a whole 3 volumes longer, like normal volumes, around the deluxe volume longer.
So, just going back quickly to what you said earlier, they're coming because this is after the fifth eclipse, and there's the coming of the Dark Hawk. You say so. This kind of hints
The Hawk of the angel. The angel is the Hawk of Darkness.
the angel of the Hawk. So basically, Griffith. So they have like scriptures predicting Griffith's
Yes.
transformation.
As you'll see with the religion is the Holy See. They're basically the Catholic Church. It's very much what they're inspired and pulled from. But there are like history and then some prophecies. This one's pretty important. It will become more and more important as the series goes along. But it's definitely referring to fucking Griffith. And you'll see this later on. But
He's the Rady Boy of Darkness.
Now this is Farnese. That is add-on, and then I don't have a picture of Serpico.
She has a strange face, man. Something about her face.
Are you wanting to get killed?
Well,
Don't talk bad about Farnese. Anyways, 2 years later. We're now 2 years after the eclipse, about a month after Black Swordsman, and we have these bandits who have this kidnapped little girl, in which this fucker starts telling them, well, hold up. Where's the rapey one? That one.
It's the one that looks like he has whiskers or some shit.
This one right here. All right. This rapey bastard tries to rape her. She kicks him in the dick. And then he gets really pissed. And then they tell the story about the tree was... they used to worship trees in this area, and then the Holy See Knights, or not the Holy See, the Holy See Church punished them by nailing their intestines and wrapping them around the tree. And this guy, he's really pissed because he got kicked in the dick by her, so he wants to test it out. Then a little tiny, what are these called? The flower?
I know what they are, but the name isn't immediately coming to mind.
those
Well,
are
anyways.
like little thorns on there or something. Or is
Yeah,
it
I forgot. I forgot the name of them. Anyways, it gets thrown on his hand, and he's wondering who did it, you know. And then they see Guts, who's hiding in the rain,
I'll be right back in a second.
which Jill thinks of a forest ghost when she sees him. Now they're asking who he is. This dude, he starts making remarks with his knife and then starts licking his knife, and Guts just fucking pushes the knife into his tongue and shit. They really didn't like that. You know, they're telling Guts that they're gonna break one of his arms. And Guts punches him in the goddamn face.
I love the retort. It's like, yeah, this is the only. I've only got one arm. You get this instead. It pretty much just knocks out all of his teeth.
Oh god, and it looks so fucking great. Look at
It
that.
really does.
Teeth knocked out. By the way, Guts wasn't even gonna try to save Jill, the little girl. Like Guts was just content just to not give a fuck. Matter of fact, he tells them that they need to take his advice and leave now because he was asking if the tree story was true. The bandits don't really listen. You know, they're like, it's too late for you now. And he's like, yeah, it is too late when the fucking tree gets possessed. And it turns into this. Look at that.
Look at that fucking panel. And this is only one instance of showing how Mura just gets better and better with his artwork. And we are nowhere close to the peak of his artwork.
I think Conviction gets imagery really fucking well in horror. I still think Millennium Falcon on technical level is better.
Well, Millennium Falcon does a few different things with its overall aesthetic. Conviction art goes balls deep into the horror side of things and straight into grimdark territory, and it does it very, very well.
Right, but you know, Guts before this was like actually trying to warn the people if they don't want to die, they need to leave and shit. And then he's just like, all right, the men get torn the fuck apart by this tree. I love this fucking page as well. Once again, another way how to do 2-page spreads. When Frederick gets back, we need to show him.
I just got back.
Another thing I really love about the Lost Children chapters is Mura does a really good job. He does a really good job of expressing for Jill here. She's more of a complex character too, as we kind of go on in these next few chapters. But it's like he's able to convey like a hint of maturity with her. But there's also that childish innocence where she's basically powerless, but she's trying to find a way out.
Yeah, and it's also really sad. She's peeing herself because, I mean, justifiably. I mean, you just saw a tree come to life.
Understandable.
You see a tree come to life and rip people apart. I'd piss my pants as well, you know? Also, the rest of the bandits, the one he knocked the teeth out and everything, they run away. And then we get the famous line. Go ahead and say it, Otter.
All right. Massive, thick, heavy, and far too rough. Indeed, it was like a slab of raw iron.
Damn.
We got full on back to Conviction Guts, or
This is
Black
like
Swordsman.
his sword is his manliness. It's like you cannot separate the two.
It's something. I mean, this ain't a slight on Golden Age, but you do miss the Dragon Slayer because it just dominates all the fight and action scenes and makes it really great. Chapter 96. Oh, hold up. Let me share. Damn, Frederick, you're about done with your drawing.
Inking, but there's a lot of little details and gray stuff. I don't know if I'm gonna be done tonight, but it's coming along well.
You've got a lot of the major details finished.
Yeah, the big outlines, but it's kind of I'm working with big fat lines, and the difficulty is trying to get them like all nice and even. You know.
Oh, yeah.
I just love this fucking tree design and shit with the spirits.
It's so much fun.
It's very Halloween.
Yes, very pumpkin-y. Like if you cut that out and then put it,
This
Yeah.
is the little known first appearance of Jack Skellington.
or Pumpkinhead, you know.
Yeah.
But I love this. Guts is fucking fighting this thing, sacrificed. Even Jill's wondering why it's saying sacrifice. And he's hitting this sword. And by the way, he's hitting this fucking tree, and it's actually shooting blood out. He
That's
I just
actually
love
maple syrup, Billy Bob.
Yeah. I just love he uses the cannon again and fucking blows out the fucking tree's mouth and shit. And then uses the momentum to swing and attack with his sword, cutting the tree in half. And which
This is another one of those highly cathartic 2-page spreads. Just
and I want to say once again, notice how where everything is in this 2-page spread.
Yeah, nothing important right under the line, and like not in the middle. There's no symmetry with the face right in the middle of the pages, you know.
Right. Man, this looks so fucking good. And then well, we hear Puck talking about and shit. And then it was Puck who threw the little thing that saved Jill. And Jill freaks the fuck out because he's an elf.
Yeah, and it's from this point onward where we start to see a bit more and more of what I would call chestnut Puck.
Yes, but this is like prototype chestnut Puck. This isn't what
Yes.
we'll have fully.
She's freaking out because she doesn't see elves every day. So this is basically like we see a lot of magical stuff from the point of view of the reader, but the people living in this land, they don't see elves, they don't see demons, they don't see all that stuff. They're living pretty mundane lives, I would imagine.
Yes, but for her, it's more than just him being a magical creature. It's specifically got to do with the elves they've been dealing with.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
In which we cut to the bandits, and boy, they're just not having a good day. And they're getting surrounded. They end up going into a place with a lot of fog, and they're like, "Wow, this is really weird." And then all these little lights and laughing, and oh, hey, look, it's Rosine. You saw her last in right before the eclipse with the band of the Hawk that was with Rickard getting murdered by her and the Count.
I hate her so much.
You hate who?
Hear that sound?
Rosine.
You hate her?
Yeah.
What do you hate about her?
Do you hear that knocking sound?
She's just devious.
That's the FBI opening
Yeah,
up.
the FBI. By the way, I'm just going to go ahead and let y'all know this now.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to jail. Rosine's appearance is so good
Questionable.
because of how disturbing it is. It's exactly how fucked up apostles are in general.
It's jailbait.
She is jailbait the character.
Or, eternal damnation bait.
That too.
It's you're going to jail, and we need to see your search history. But also, before that, Jill was telling them that Puck is an elf, and he's an elf from Misty Valley.
Which he's not, of course.
No, he's an actual elf. The other ones you can already notice without seeing them that something's not right. Also, Rosine's an apostle. There's no ifs, ands about it. You've seen her before, 2 years before. During Golden Age. Oh my god. Alright, we're fixing to get to some more dark shit.
I know I keep saying this, but things are about to get a whole lot darker, especially with lost children.
Yep, and then Jill is taking them to her village so they can get some food and shit. She ends up getting there, and before this page, she's actually like Guts is from far back, and then she's actually like peering in between her window, and then her mother comes around, and she's shocked and then trying to tell her mother to be quiet. And then this disgusting fuck. Pay attention to this fucker. Who's telling her sorry about last night.
Just a casual sorry, as
And
if
by the way,
that would be enough.
here's the thing. He's creepy. His dialogue. She doesn't have to say anything. We don't have to have no thought bubble. We can just tell something's not right.
It's all about reading her expression. Look at how much is being said just by that one look.
Yeah,
As a matter of fact, Guts is noticing it.
her eyes are down. She can't look at him.
And this is her piece of shit father. He didn't really care and is slapping the shit out of her. And then Puck once again throws I forgot what they're called at the father. And then Guts is not even like trying to take credit and say or try to intervene at all when he's beating Jill.
Well, Guts isn't usually a policeman. Like, he's not a hero.
No, he's not, but you would think he'd go more involved.
Yeah, that's why you're always surprised that he doesn't give a shit.
I'm not
Well, he
even sure
kinda
I'd
gives
call
a
him an
shit. He is-
anti-hero either. He's just a few steps away from being an actual villain.
But either way, he says that Puck was the one who did it, and then they all freak out talking about an elf. You know, he's got an elf with them. I love this drawing. Puck is just confused. They're all freaking out over this. And then they end up threatening Guts and surrounding him and saying to hand the elf over. And then Guts' first thought, this is fucking hilarious. And by the way, this is showing kind of how detached Guts is from a lot of not even being a great person. He
Look
literally
at
says,
that
"Oh,
shot.
I should if I kill one or two of them, you know, they'll calm down."
Just putting
Don't-
extra emphasis on the sword to the point where it's actually overlaying the other panels.
Oh yeah, the sword cannot fit within a panel. It seems to be the rule. Like, it always has to overlap or just barely cut out of the frame.
But I do love this. Oh yeah, by the way, the reason why they're really pissed is because an old woman tried to attack Puck with the thing, and Guts just moved out of the way and accidentally tripped her, and she hit the face. And that's when Guts is like, maybe they'll calm down if I kill one or two. The only reason he doesn't do is because Jill is screaming and stuff, and then he decides just to hit a fucking wagon.
Even
Berserk.
then, he's just all he really has to do is just raise up that gigantic sword, and everybody immediately kind of just freezes in their tracks.
Yeah, I mean, he hits a fucking wagon and cuts it in two with one strike.
Yeah,
They're
that
all
may
like,
have an effect.
Yeah, and then Guts
Dude,
just
that
fucking
was my
runs away.
wagon, man.
Yeah, Guts runs away, and then they're still chasing him. He jumps off onto a bridge, and they go past. And then him and Puck are arguing with each other. And then Jill is basically like, "Hey," she finds him and is like, "Hey, go to that abandoned windmill house." And then Guts is like, "All right." And Guts is like, "All right, do not come to me until the morning. At no point do you show up at night." You know, she's like, that's a little weird. And then, we get this. The little fat piece of shit friend that we talked about earlier, this one. Yeah, he says he has to go to the bathroom, and he just makes a beeline right to her room.
This
And I
is
love this
her
fucking
father,
shot.
right? Yeah, her dad, right?
No, not her dad. Her dad's
It's her
friend.
father's friend.
Her father's friend. Okay.
He literally says, "I'm gonna go take a piss," and then he's walking right to her room, and that's when she grabs the thing and closes it, and he's sitting there banging, trying to get in the room. This is what caused her to run away. That's how she got caught by the bandits, because he tried raping her before, and she ran away from the house. And that ended up
Fucked
getting
if
caught.
you do, fucked if you don't, right?
Yeah.
Jill is probably in one of the worst positions out of any character in Berserk. She,
And also,
short of someone like Casca, Jill has Jill is in an especially bad spot.
Yeah, this is why I say being the women and like being a woman in Berserk is kind of one of the worst possible outcomes you can have. Just because it's like at any age, at any point, you're someone's trying to rape you and murder you. You know.
Either that or your whole life is usually related to some consequence of that.
And if you ever realize you're in a Berserk book, you're fucked.
But you know, she grabs Guts's cloak and stuff, and then huddles into it, and we got the fucking moonlight blasting right onto her. This fucking panel looks great. Love it. And then she ends up going to the morning with food. Sees Guts. Now the spirits disappearing and shit.
Yeah, he just fell asleep like a second ago or not.
Yeah, Puck just says, yeah, leave him be. You know, he just fell asleep.
It's another great way that that Berserk kind of brings us back to Black Swordsman Guts, and it's just showing how we left off with Golden Age, where he was just starting his journey. We already know some of what he goes through, but this is continuing after that, and it's just showing how much it's actually taking a toll on his own health. Like, he's barely even sleeping at this point.
Oh yeah, see, since it's raining and stuff, that constantly brings the spirits. Spirits are always there. He's not been able to get like any sleep in like 4 days. Just little bits every now and then.
It's all he knows, like battling, fighting, whether demons or mercenaries or, you know.
Right, but it is starting to take a toll on his mental health.
You think?
Like even before like Golden Age, yeah, he fought a lot, but like he wasn't fighting every single day with no sleep.
Yeah, Berserk poses the question. Yeah, imagine living in a world that's dominated by war. You go through some truly horrific experiences as a child and as an adult. Then your one of your friends betrays your entire family, basically. Now you're being haunted every night, and sometimes even during the day. Hope you have fun with that.
I mean, he's a cursed soul without formally having been cursed, in a sense.
Right.
Right. Then we cut to the scene. Guts barely gets any sleep because the incubi is gonna feed on him and get nightmares. He's got Jill, which he starts noticing all her beat marks on her face, her hands, and all that other shit. And it is actually starting to get to him a little bit. Let's be honest.
Yeah, there's still a human way deep down in there.
All right. Oh shit! I wish we got the page where the half page one. That's all right. But basically, we get the explanation of what the fuck's going on, why everyone was freaking out about Puck, which is, what was it? Years ago, whatever. Different villages from Misty Valley, which used to be a place that people believed the elves were from. Well, now the elves are starting to like kill crops, kill animals, and also eat humans and steal children. You know, and Puck is just really, really mortified by this. He's like, "Ah, that's not elves. We don't do that." And then she describes what the elves look like. They're small, they glow faintly. There are inset wings on their back, and they shaped like people. You know, Guts is like, "Yeah, we've got a match that sounds exactly like an elf." Except the whole murder part.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're stealing children as well. Well, Guts's brand starts to bleed, and we start seeing something traveling towards the town.
Something
old-
wicked this way comes.
Which we get this
Fireworks.
once again. 2-page spread. How to do it.
Yeah.
Also, I have a question for everyone in the audience. Do you like dogs?
Did we
Like,
get the page where the dog is?
I'm
Wow, Cody. Well, anyways,
not
everyone
entirely
notices that.
sure.
Oh, we get this page.
Ah,
I think we missed out on the page with the dog. Rest assured
No, no,
that
no, no.
there is
That's
a.
after it. It's after this one.
Is it?
Uh,
Okay.
Yeah. Well, Guts is just really fucking happily pleased that, well, they're not elves, but there's something else.
He loves fighting demons, doesn't he? He's like,
He loves torturing and killing and
it's
murdering them.
his raison d'être.
Oh, we don't got the dog. All right, the dog one basically, the dog was barking and it immediately gets eaten in like 1 second. Just holes ripped out of it.
Its whole
And then,
body essentially explodes in a split second.
yeah, you see a bunch of cows getting ripped apart, pigs, and then these one family is trying to hold back them in the door, and they're breaking through the door with their little hands. And they're circling around the family, and then that's what they did to the little kid's parents. And then Rose, or not Rosine, Jim, or Jill's fucking piece of shit father, just beating the mother because the mother's like, she wants to go outside because Jill's out there, and he's just he's thinking about himself.
This guy is such a piece of shit father.
Yep, and then all the villagers see the little boy running out, and they're like, "Oh, the Hansons, they must be dead." None of them try to go help this little boy. Look at the gore, so great. That is fucking great right there, Frederick. Little fucking pseudo apostle poking out of her eye and shit. Socket. But Guts shows up and then tells the boy to.
I love this shot.
He tells the boy to stay down, and then he just fucking swipes the little bugs.
Fly swatter. He uses his fucking sword as a fly swatter, and
I also love how 2D these things look, how they got squished.
it's gross in the best way possible.
I love it how that it's basically cutting certain ones of these pseudo apostles in half, where it's flattening half of their body and then the other is just going flying.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great. Start the next chapter. Oh, Christian's behind there. Otter, you ain't paying attention.
Hey, Kahuna.
Son of a gun.
I'm also getting pretty low on energy for the night.
Yeah, I have a limited time span just because I don't have a wireless charger for my phone anymore, so this is my momentary setup. Oh, that's what. Yeah, I was like, they just look like when I was first reading this, I was like, they just look like pixies. Oh, yeah, not pixies or not elves or fairies or whatever the hell. Puck
Oh,
is.
well, I mean, you would notice it immediately because they have little tiny penises on some of them. And elves do not have genitalia.
Sorry, I don't look at tiny penises, Billy Bob.
Yeah, they're pretty fucking noticeable on this.
I love it. We're getting right to the chapter where Puck sees Rosine for the first time, and she's saying, "I'm an elf," and Puck's natural reaction is, "That's an elf?"
Oh, I think we have that page. But Guts just swatted these fuckers. He's enjoying himself. And then we get to see the little tiny elves. Totally not pseudo apostles.
Definitely not. No. I also like how Guts just carries the kid with his sword.
Oh, we're getting to that. Hold up. This is what I'm gonna tell you exactly what he says. He says, "You want revenge for mommy and daddy?" And the kid's just looking up and crying. He's like, "Or else, do you want to go with these things?" And the boy just shakes his head and he's like, "Okay, well, help out then." And then just puts him on the end of the sword. Once again,
excellent parenting skills.
That's one way to do it.
This
I mean, it's basically what
showing-
my dad when I was a kid. Yeah.
Back in my day.
Yeah, and the villagers are getting really pissed about this, but they didn't really do anything to help save this kid.
Also, did they not see all the little fucking non-elves? Oh, that's
Yeah,
the
they,
thing.
they
That's
know
right,
about him.
yeah.
They're scared of him, and they've seen
Yeah,
him.
everyone's looking out for number one.
I
That's
like
why
when
they freaked out with Puck
Yeah.
and stuff, because he's an elf.
I do like when they finally transform and kind of show their true nature. I'm like, okay, well, at least now they're not pretending.
Yeah,
be
so
something
these are
else.
pseudo apostles. They're not apostles. Think of the Count when he turned Lord Zondark into
Pseudo apostle.
yeah, turned him into like unnatural abilities and transformations and shit. Some apostles can do it. Not everyone can do it. We never see Zod do it, and there's other ones that don't do it. But anyways, Guts goes flying, and the elves are having really fun time chasing and having fun.
And Guts has
get-
freaking bait on the end of his sword.
Yeah, Guts. There's one page where the little boy is just you see from his perspective of like the little elves trying to grab his face. But he gets to a barn and the elves are really pissed off. They're like, "This is boring," and transform into their actual apostle forms. They turn into little hornet fucks.
Literally.
Yes.
We're getting there.
And then Guts just knocks down the thing and then shoots his cannon, burning all of them and knocking him and the boy out of the barn. And then the little boy is running away, and then he tells the little boy, "You made a good lure."
I love
Like,
how
God
I
damn
love how
Encouragement.
I love how he's a good father figure. He's teaching
And then,
him. Yeah.
and then while they're burning and stuff, the pseudo apostles, he says, "Watch, bugs burn real nice." He's telling the little boy. And then Rosine shows up.
Don't
Once
look.
again,
Oh,
Rosine-
another female character. Surely she has a bright future with nothing but good things ahead of her. Surely.
yes.
Yeah.
Also, if you've already noticed, the main theme going into Lost Children is about like child abuse and shit.
The name certainly didn't give it away. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Bat's also supposed to be in here. Jesus fuck, Otter.
Hello.
He was busy,
We're talking
man.
about Fourth Wing.
Hey there.
Yeah, we're talking about Fourth Wing. With Zayden gets this giant sword called the Dragon Slayer, and then they kill these evil necroplic wasp
What?
demons. Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And
I
the Fourth
figured,
Wing.
hey, like I said, I'm leaving Italy. I figured I'd just hop in real quick.
Hell
So-
yeah, brother.
Here's the
Which
thing
one
with
rots?
Rosine.
Which one rots
There
the
you
brain most? Fourth Wing or Berserk? Which one rots your brain the most?
Oh, and there he goes. Well, thanks for popping in.
Internet.
Oh, yeah, he was in an airport.
Yeah, but Berserk is good, Frederick. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. This is a good series, so it doesn't really rot your brain.
Oh, that's a good cover, man.
I like. I'll be honest. I did not love most of the covers, like for the individual chapters or volumes, but this one was one of the good ones.
There's some of them that I'm okay with. There is one later on. I think it's volume 30, 34 or 35. That's really fucking good. Also, Mira, that's really sus. Hey, you drew Puck. Like, that's a sus drawing of Puck.
I mean, we see the same thing in Disney.
How many sus drawings do we see in?
We
Berserk,
see a
though?
lot, but look at this one. Come on.
I just step back into I sit back down, and the first thing I see is Puck ass.
Fairies
It's
are
one of
prone
the
to do
sus
that.
drawings of Puck.
I
in
mean,
this
to be
series.
fair, fairies are prone to do that. Just look at Tinkerbell. She's like in those positions all the time.
Oh yeah, no, Tinkerbell was definitely drawn sus. There's no doubt.
But we open back up with Rosine confronting Guts. We don't have the page where Otter, where you're like, Puck is like, "That's an elf." He's doing a confused
Oh.
look.
Let me see. Let's see.
Elf BI open up.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Guts is like, so you're the queen bee, and she's like, I'm no bee, I'm an elf. Like,
And he's
all
like,
right.
all right, sure.
He's like playing elf, maybe.
Guys, she
Insect
identifies
scourge.
as an elf, okay, which is just the same.
And then she's like, this your response is, that was mean. Did you all hear that? What should we do? They're all
Also,
calling him blind grunt.
why is Puck being such a dumb fuck? He's sitting here like, they're not acting like elves. No shit.
He's elf-phobic.
Well, he knows something's wrong with them, but he's like, he's trying to figure out like what's weird about them, and it's that they're children.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But anyways, Rosine goes in for her attack. Guts can't do shit. She immediately flies past him at supersonic speed and hits him in the arm, which poisons him. Once again, good description of how to do a double page spread.
But holy fuck, what did she hit him with? Because that went all the way through his arm.
It's her little tiny needle that she points out. You see the middle right here?
Oh, the nipple?
No, right here.
Oh, yeah, that.
Right
yeah,
here.
Yeah.
That's a little tiny stinger. That's
Yeah,
not
it's
what
like
she
a
hits him with.
stinger right on her forehead that curls up.
Yeah. The thing is with Rosine, she can fly. This isn't even as fast as she can fly. She can actually fly so fast she can break the sonic
Sound barrier.
barrier.
It's a good weapon as well. Like, it's a woman's weapon to use
Yeah.
poison, right?
Also,
But-
like, this is maybe one of the first times Guts has encountered someone actually faster than him. Very few times has this happened before in the series.
But Puck was trying to get him to stop because he's like, he's figured out that these are children, like the pseudo apostles and shit, or children. Rosine gets really pissed because Puck was basically telling Guts like, "Hey, time out." And getting really pissed because Guts wasn't listening, and he's like, "Hey, they're children and shit." And then Rosine,
but what's the solution here? Like, what? Stop killing demons? Because, yeah, I don't know, man.
yeah,
Because the children are
Then
kind of
again-
lost, right? They're not in a situation where they can be turned back into children. They're kind of already
It's
lost, I think.
In this
So-
world, it's not like in any most other universes, it'd be like, we found a way to bring them back. And this one, it's like, no, we still have to kill them now.
so technically there may have been. Here's the problem. So there's a Berserk video game. In the Berserk video game, it's actually written by Kentaro Miura, the script for it. In that video game, people were turned into pseudo apostles, and after the main apostle was killed, they did revert back to the original human, albeit more than likely they're all dead. Like they were literally melted and reborn. But anyways, Rosine gets really pissed because she sees Puck talking to humans, and she's like, "Hey, that's what Peacock, the outcast, does." You know, she's gonna punish him as well. I just love how he was trying to stop this, and then once she starts going for an attack, he's telling Guts to kill her, take her out.
Jesus.
He's not a
Just immediately
pacifist
flip on
once
that.
he's in danger.
Puck
Yeah.
has some great humor in this story arc.
But
Also, Puck is just being an annoying little fuck to Guts this entire portion. Just asking him dumb fucking questions, like poking him. It's like, oh, silly, what are you doing? It's like, I'm gonna fucking squish you, buddy. Holy fuck.
Well, he outright tells you the reasoning for that. And he's like, hey, it's got to be mentioned. If I weren't here, the story would be way too dark.
oh, that was a fourth wall break. That was basically
Yeah,
Miura.
that's
A lot of
maybe the
people would
biggest.
say
That's
that
maybe the
about Black
biggest one.
Swordsman.
Yeah. That and well, we'll get to the Yoda references much later on.
Yeah, but Jill notices the Peacock story. She's she realizes it's Rosine, her friend, and then Rosine
yeah, that's
leaves
right,
off,
yeah.
and then this piece of shit farmer right here, he got really pissed because they burnt down his farm, his barn, which because his animals were in there, but they were already dead. And all those
the body burning is
pseudo-apostles-
pretty effed.
Yeah, all those pseudo apostles, when they die, they revert back to their original human forms.
Dude,
Now it-
that's
Yeah.
fucked up, man.
Also, now
It
now
is.
it looks like the farmer is just stacking bodies left and right now.
By the way,
This
they
is,
blame Guts for this and say that he done this. Yet, why aren't they asking like, all right, let's say
Why
that
are
was
there
true,
why
and
are there
Guts
like
burnt all
400?
these
Why is there
children?
like 200 children in this barn?
Yeah. The more important question would be like, now how was the fucking farmer dude harboring like 200 children in his barn? That's the one thing where it's
I do like Guts's kind of defense mechanism in this situation. He took like the Deadpool approach, like where these bad guys stole a bunch of money, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well we're taking a hostage. You can't hurt us now, or we'll hurt her." And then like Deadpool looks over and grabs a child out of the crowd. "Oh yeah, well you wouldn't believe what I'll do to this one if you don't stop."
Yeah, Guts takes Jill as hostage, and there's a really sad part coming up in the next chapter.
Oh, I'm sure she's a female in the Berserk series. I'm sure she has a long, healthy, happy future ahead of her.
No. I'm talking about in the next chapter.
Oh, okay.
that said, Jill still has it especially bad. She is
Yeah.
not in a good spot.
I am glad Puck is here, but he is an annoying little shit.
Nah, I love Buck, man. He's great.
I agree, but he is an annoying
He
little
is
shit.
distracting at times. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, do you think Jill believes that he would hurt her?
No.
That Guts would hurt her?
Yeah.
Yes.
No. I'm gonna
She doesn't-
later on in the chapter when literally something later on happens, and then Puck is like, "Yeah, he was definitely going to 100% kill you," and she's like, "Oh, so it was true." She didn't really believe that was true.
It doesn't look like it's true based on her face. Like, at least she doesn't believe it in this part.
Yeah, Guts has her hostage and shit, and then Puck is even freaking out and being like, "Yeah, you're just making it worse, Guts." Like you made it go from 0 to or from 5 to 10 in like a second.
Also, can we have a counter? Like, how many times has Guts flicked, thrown, or tossed, or spanked Puck in the entire series? What's the?
I feel like you could make a drinking game out of that. Every time that Puck gets tossed around by Guts or someone else, just take a drink.
Yeah, but one of the villagers tries like attacking Guts, and Guts just puts Jill in front and just like, hey, you better stop. Also, I'm starting to go numb, and I might lose control and cut her throat.
I do like the page of her telling Guts that, oh yeah, that girl might have been my friend. There's the emotion in her eyes. There's a lot captured there. It was pretty impressive.
So the sad part I'm talking about is when Guts is walking off from the villagers, and then the father is like behind a building, and then Rosine sees him, and he just turns away, and she just notices, saddened, and then just lowers her head while they continue to walk. Because her father actually was a piece of shit. It did not try to help. Didn't do anything for her.
Like, but even if you have no chances, you still gotta try, man. It's such a shitty.
Yeah, we get out of the village, and then Guts is like, "All right, you can leave." Puck is pretty pissed off at him, and Guts just fucking sprinkles his dust on him to heal her, and then just says, "See ya." He does at least say sorry about the stuff,
Who, Guts?
Yeah.
Guts is like the tsundere girl in a normal romance manga or anime, except it's not romantic and it's just like an annoying little elf.
Yeah, but Rosine's noticing he's leaving, and then wants to go with him. And then of course, that Rosine might be his friend, and then Guts is like, "All right, what'll happen? He's about to go kill Rosine. If you come with me, what'll happen?" And he just tells her to stay away. This ain't some kiddies game.
Yeah, not a good idea, Rosine.
Yeah, you can tell, like, he's still, like, I know there's still some part of him that wants things to be better in the future, but he's in that dark place that he's kind of been in pretty much since the end of the Golden Age. and he still
Well, keep in
hasn't
mind,
come out of
it's
there.
been 2 years. He's been battling demons every night. He's sleep deprived at this point as well.
Also, I mentioned it in a comment before I hopped on, but I had no idea he was missing that eye. I thought he was just like really tired or squinty eyed or something.
You just
Until I
thought
read
like the entire.
You thought he
Wait,
was winking at you, Kahuna.
he was
how long?
winking the
You went
entire
through all
time.
of Black Swordsman, not realizing has one eye.
I did not realize. Oh
What?
yeah, dude, I was. Yeah, it was a weird detail that I just didn't. I thought it was
When
weird
did you notice this?
when I saw him lose the eye.
Oh,
First time
you
I
went
read
through this
this
whole.
fucking-
Oh my god, you went through 5 fucking deluxe volumes,
Well,
which is,
it's
by the
like,
way,
Black Swordsman's
14
only.
fucking volumes of Berserk. Well over thousands of pages at this point.
Well, he wasn't like that in most of that portion. That was just in the very beginning. I did think it was weird
Yeah,
why he
at the
was
very
like.
beginning, where he never opens one of his eyes because he's missing a fucking
I
eye.
thought it was weird, dude.
Matter of fact, we
Oh.
made mentions of him missing an eye.
That's funny.
I don't know, man. Maybe my brain just. I don't know. I don't have. It doesn't make sense, man. But holy shit.
But you know, where we got this one part? Puck is just basically bitching at Guts, being like all the mean stuff he's saying to Jill before that, and how he should be nice, and how he should be teaching the youth, good stuff. And then he sees Guts' wound bleeding from his arm, and he wants to heal it. Then we get this part where he just doesn't really want Puck to heal him at all. And it just tells him, he's got no recollection of making him a hip pet, And then that's where we get this part, Arter. The 4th wall break one.
Oh yeah.
Where everyone who read Black Swordsman is like, hey, without Puck, the story would be too dark.
I do
And
love
Guts
that
just,
part.
It's such a good 4th wall break.
poor Puck. He's like, I'm not a pet, though. By the way, he's never said Puck's name. You will get a payoff for that eventually.
I like how
Still
these
follow
3
Puck.
panels, they go from normal, somewhat realistic Puck to semi-chestnut Puck to complete chestnut Puck.
Yes.
Also, the upcoming scene at the fire, the transition, the realization of that something's there, like the flashing between his face, the fire, the marks slowly bleeding. Brilliant. I love how he
Where?
did that on that page. When he in a couple of pages here when he got at the fire.
Well, when we get there, we'll talk about it.
Okay, fine.
We're about there. Gus is basically repeating what he said in Black Swordsman and being a dick to Puck.
Well, they're trying
And
to
then we get
reset
to
us
the
back
fire
to this
scene.
portion. Yeah, like the page before that is what I was talking about. Like where he kind of when he finally looks up and sees it. It's like shows the fire, shows him, the mark slowly starting to bleed, and then he kind of realizes what's up.
Well, before that, we see him throwing up the poison and stuff, and then thinking back on the burning children. He's eating a snake and then drinking its blood, talking about how much he's lost too much blood. And then he says, "Looks like it's gonna be a long night," with a sword.
Yep.
And then his child appears in the flames.
Yep.
And then, hey, remember all those pseudo apostles?
Uh-oh.
It'd be a shame if they were all now on fire.
Yeah, it'd be a shame if they're all haunting Guts now and they're all in flames. And boy, this is why I love Conviction. It has the most creepy imagery and fucked up shit. We literally have burnt children crying and stuff. And Guts is starting to smile. He's like, "Oh fuck, I get to go loose, murder this shit."
I'm
Who gives a fuck?
gonna be honest, this has got to be one of the most fucked up things that Guts does, period.
Oh, well, he does, and it does affect him. He pukes his guts out.
Right.
Yeah, he's puking his guts out from poison.
Well,
Oh,
it's also
well.
pretty clear he's losing it. Like he's
Yeah.
borderline batshit insane while he's fighting them.
Yeah, and then he's blaming his son, you know, about him dragging him there.
Also, I've puked blood. It's not a fun experience. He's not doing well. Actually,
Well,
I
he
feel like
shouldn't-
that. I feel like that's a universal constant in this series. Guts is not doing well.
Gus is never doing well.
No, it's like his best moments is when he's fighting with the Band of the Hawk and nobody's in dire
Come
straits.
on.
Dude, ever
when
since
he's
he
in-
was born, he's not been doing well.
What about those nice scenes in the woods with Casca? He was doing pretty well that time.
Yeah,
wasn't he?
you know, they only
last,
lasted about 4 days of happiness before she got literally raped in front of him.
And
Still-
now
Potato.
their child is dragging evil spirits to him. So
Oh,
you know.
just
Well,
focus
hold
on the
hold
bad
His
things.
child isn't dragging.
I'm sorry,
evil
I'm being
spirits to him.
pessimistic, Frederick.
But we open up the next chapter with still the baby spirits, and then well, Gus is just having a grand old time fighting these things and puking.
He is not doing well. Once
So
again,
that's one way to puke up the poison out of your system. Dealing with something as horrific as this, being attacked by burning pseudo apostles.
No, these aren't pseudo apostles. These are spirits.
Well, spirits that were pseudo apostles.
Well, now they're just human.
are they
spirits.
still trying to harm him though?
No, they're literally the spirits are saying, "Mommy, Daddy."
Yeah, I would like at first it looks like they're coming after him. Obviously, I think that's intentional, and then it's just him cutting him in half, and I'm like, I don't know if they're actually trying to harm you.
Yeah, but we have before this we have Jill and Puck talking, in which Puck's like, "You might regret going this. Like, you know, it's pretty dangerous. Probably should go home."
Also, I'm gonna have to be honest. I may have to hop off here in just a second. I'm running on fumes tonight.
No, I don't have that much longer left in me either, just because my phone's almost dead and it's a pain in the ass.
Oh, here you go. You got this question, Christian.
Yeah, but they still do hurt him. Like they grab him and they burn him.
Yeah, they're also just spirits trying to grab onto him. They're actually not trying to intentionally kill him.
Yeah, that's just his luck. Yep.
But Guts don't give a fuck. He cuts him in half. But Jill ends up
Seeing Jill kind of he almost cuts her in half. You know, like everything else in this series, he finally finds a reason to stop swinging the sword.
well, he's going into his full mode where he's just having fun slaughtering. But he gets jumped by them, and then ends up having to grab Jill, and then ends up flinging himself off the cliffside and landing, getting knocked out,
Yeah.
and wakes up with or he's been trying. I get, you know, funny enough, he's probably been trying to tell Jill for like an hour to get up because she's crushing him. And then she tells about Peacock. the story.
Yeah. Weird
And-
little story.
So, Christian, Frederick, this story actually might be true.
I kind of wondered that when I read it. I'm like, this doesn't seem that far out of the realm here.
So, you know, here's how I'm going to say it's actually probably a true story, somewhat true. Later on in the series, we find out that there's little pockets of areas connected to the astral world that time moves slower there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there could have actually been the actual story, like the childhood, later on in the series that kind of when you look back on this, like, oh, that's probably true. But basically, the whole story is it's basically like kind of like Rudolph. Everyone's making fun of him because he looks different. You know, he's got red eyes, pointy ears. And he's like,
Well,
well, I clearly my mother and father aren't my real mother and father, so I'm gonna go find the elves that we're not allowed to go to. He finds them. He thinks that he's found his people. They're like, nah, your parents, they came to us a long time breaking law for us to save you, and then we did with magic, and then we just decided to make you also kind of look like an elf. And then by the time he went back to his village, everyone was gone. Like it's been like 100 years or some shit. Everyone's dead, so he just ends up crying.
Yeah, that's fucked up as well.
Yeah.
me
Also,
find
she
the-
just had the Bailet. Also, just cause.
Which
Yeah.
one?
Oh, Rosine.
Well, we have
Like, oh yeah,
let's
she
see
had
what-
all these little treasures, including the thing that just created a monster.
Well, keep in mind, Behelits are destined for a person. That they're not random items you find.
I know that, but it still seems like something you don't want to just carry around.
What do you mean?
Oh yeah, it seems like something your average person wouldn't want to just have in their possession. Also,
Right. I mean, but it's a strange looking stone. So, anyway, Rosine always thought herself as Peacock.
All right, guys. I think I'm gonna have to jump out of here for tonight.
no, that's all right, man. It's all right.
Okay, man. Have a good one, Otter.
All right. You
Take
guys
it
have
easy,
a good
buddy.
night.
Peace off.
Yeah, we'll rush get through the rest of this. With the recollected, we're almost done.
I like that Jill tries to hit him later too. I'm like, huh, that's a move. You just saw
Look at
him.
some fucking shit. But oh yeah, by the way, this is how we know how old Rosine is. Rosine's 4 years older than Jill. I'm gonna be honest, Jill at most is 11 or 12.
Yeah, she's not. Yeah,
You say that from the way she looks, or what?
Going off
Yeah.
kind of the way she looks and other stuff.
way she acts, the way other people treat her. They don't treat her like a girl on the cusp of womanhood. They treat her like a child still. So
Yeah, like I said, 11 or 12. I think that's kind of the age range, which means Rosine's 15 or 16.
but again, like in this form, I don't think it really matters.
No, it doesn't really matter, but it is FBI open up.
Yeah, yeah.
But, she's basically talking about Rosine basically being a tomboy. She liked to do a lot of stuff boys do and wear stuff.
Like take
she's
advantage of
collecting-
young girls.
Yeah, she's taking. She had the collection. They mentioned the Behelit, Puck and them thinking about that. She was talking about Rosine avoiding home, and basically Rosine's parents fought, but also Rosine's father beat the mother and the daughter a lot because the mother was raped during a war in their village, and the father is a piece of shit as well.
Yeah, there just aren't that many good people in Berserk world. Berserk.
There's
Land.
Yeah.
Charlotte. Pretty much.
And
Charlotte.
then they basically are like, "Oh, you mean this?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's exactly they show the Behelit." And they're like, "Oh, that's exactly what she had." And they're like, "Huh."
Weird.
And then Jill, this is her telling Rosine goodbye and then leaving all her stuff but the Behelit. She takes the Behelit with her to the Misty Valley. And then she's like, yeah, everyone was looking for her, and then suddenly like her parents just vanished along with her. And that's like, oh.
That's
Yeah,
the weirdest
she
thing.
offered him up to have her wish granted. She fucking she sacrificed him,
So, like, it was enough to become an apostle, but obviously not a member of the God Hand, such as Griffith. Obviously.
Well, the Crimson Behelit is the Crimson Behelits are for God Hand members, the ones who get actually become God Hands. The normal ones are just for apostles.
Oh, so that's maybe one instance where having a colored panel might be helpful.
Yes, here's the thing is too, the deluxe editions couldn't have the colored version, but in like Black Swordsman, there is a colored Behelit you can see. The Behelit, it's like a darkish green look, is what the normal Behelits look like. But anyways, Guts is you know, kind of sort of threatening her and being like, hey, if you follow me, you'll end up dead. And also, he's not stopping her sword, and that's where you get the slap scene, where he calls her a nuisance and everything, and she gets fucking pissed and actually tries to slap him. What was the Puck one? He's talking. Oh, he's saying this is child abuse. I'll sue. Regulators strict these days. I think later on in like the second half of one of them, it's talking about them getting banned for they keep being mean to children. But he basically Puck does all that, and Guts just picks Puck up and puts him in a underneath some rocks. And you do have Puck like trying to be nice to Jill and everything, and just telling her don't listen to Guts and stuff. And then
All right,
he's
bro.
also like,
my phone's about to leave, brother. So I'll have to either call it here or I can pop back in.
all right,
Peace out, yo.
see ya.
Later.
Also, I've noticed he's drawing more penises. It's official.
Yes, except Griffith.
Except for Griffith. We can't show the holy penis.
You'll see. But Rosine shows up and is basically very weird. There's like some perversion with Rosine with Jill.
Clearly.
Like that. There's some that's some disturbing stuff, but it makes sense. She's an apostle, and you'll see later on. She's really happy to see her friend Jill.
He's playing on those themes the same way he played with Guts and Griffith in the early Golden Age scenes.
Right. But it's very apparent. Disturbing, but disturbing because
He's teasing his audience, clearly.
100%. Damn, I finally get to see your work. Getting closer to being done with that.
Oh, the page? Yeah, moving along nicely. There's a lot of little gray shading, which will take a little bit of time. But yeah, it's nice to see most of the outline is there.
Yeah, Rosine, she morphs her face back into like a more normal human face.
Yeah, she still looks demony. She's got those fangs. Is it me hallucinating, or she has fangs?
Yes and no.
And her ears are weird because they're kind of like pointy but dangling.
Well, they're kind of mixed into with her hair. Not really hair. It looks like hair, but it's not really hair. It's mixed into the membrane of her wings.
She's clearly a strange creature.
Yeah, and then she's even like showing off her form and shit to Jill, and twirling and stuff, and then saying that this is the real her. This is what she's a real elf and all this other stuff, and she's the queen of the elves. And then even Jill's thinking back onto what Guts was saying, that she sacrificed to have her wish granted.
Yeah, and at the same time, she's kind of offering her friend the opportunity to join her in a way. Not exactly as an equal, but she's got something in mind.
Yeah, she's fixing to. She's basically, she's really happy to see her friend and shit, and she's extending an invitation to Jill to go to Misty Valley with her. And then picks up Jill and then is like, oh, yeah, we can have fun, play. Guts, well, he has a brand on the back of his neck, and he can sense when apostles are fucking near. So he goes flying. And I love how fucking fast he's showing Guts flying through. Like he has this broken out part of this tree stuff showing guts flying up.
Huh.
Yeah. You see that?
Yeah. Lots of movement.
Yep. And then we got him swinging down a sword.
Oh, he ain't holding
Frozen.
back.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying by the hair and it's fading in,
Yeah.
like fused with the
It's
membrane.
the wings and everything. Yeah, she's one weird creature that is mimicking a moth elf kind of creature, but she's clearly something else.
Yeah, like the thing I think I described this last night when we were talking. Like her design is a perversion of elves. Elves don't have genitalia. She does, you know. And it's not really elves. It's kind of elf, but mixed with like the moth and shit.
Yeah. The illusion's not perfect. There are tiny clues that tip you off that this is, there's an uncanny valley.
Yeah, and her little elf followers, they have the same thing, but they're more like hornets and shit like that as their design when they fully transform. But Guts misses and only manages to cut this.
Her tail, or the end of her tail, yeah.
Yeah, her tail thing.
And a tip of her wing, it seems.
Yeah, a little bit of the wing in that. It's really
cool
painful,
face.
so she transforms her face. And by the way, this drawing is fucking great.
Yes. Yeah.
It's
That's what I
like
was looking at.
this one's insane.
This is a money shot right there. Yeah, looks good.
Like that's basically what Jill's saying now. She's like, oh, she looked kind of like my friend and stuff, you know.
So he doesn't really wound her, but he does, and at the same time, she's revealed her true nature is just revealed to Jill.
Yeah, except Jill's not fully taking it on right now, but she's also getting pissed, and she basically tells Jill, "Let's just go. You know, don't hurt or fight her anymore." So they fly off. You know, Puck is like, "Did you mean to kill Jill too?" And then Guts just like, "So what if I did?" And then Puck performs a albatross death blow.
Damn, man, Guts is heartless at times, but he isn't. But he just plays that character.
Yeah, I just love how Puck is like, "You rotten bastard."
I
He
mean,
calls him the bastard swordsman from now on, and tells Guts how he disgusts him.
It's almost as if Guts is just saying that to troll Puck in a way.
Yeah,
Like, I mean,
well, you see,
we know he means it though, because he's kind of deranged, but he gets
He
pleasure out
is.
of trolling Puck for sure.
but in the next page, Guts literally goes, "Did I hold back somehow? Me?"
yeah,
Like
Not
he's
so
saying
sure.
never, but he did somewhere deep down. He still was holding back because he didn't want to kill an innocent child.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, he's not totally evil. He's not evil.
but he is getting to the point where he's not being too good of a person, to be honest. But we cut back to Jill and Rosine being like, "Oh, you know, look how beautiful of all this stuff, the forest, trees, you know, no human can see these sights and all this stuff." And she, you know, Jill's like, she can barely see her village and all that. And then that's when Rosine's like, "Hey, if you become one of us, you can fly all to your heart's content." You know?
You like flying, kid?
I do like this scene. I like Rosine's design. It is kind of a moth, like butterfly a little bit as well.
Yeah, she's a different kind of threat. So instead of going towards this is a nice break because we're used to huge monsters, we're used to physical threats, we're used to just overpowering. To now we've got the temptation, like a different kind of evil. It's small. It's not threatening by its size, but it's a different kind of threat. It gets you by the corruption.
It is threatening in the sense that
She does have poison and shit and stuff.
she is also super fast, like incredibly fast.
Yeah.
as you'll see later on with her other this is not, by the way, this is not her true apostle form either. This is her normal form.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
That's what that's what makes her scary. It's when you're realizing, oh yeah, this isn't like her full apostle form.
This isn't even my final form.
Her final form is great. The moth thing, I don't know.
Is she not a moth when she's in her real form, or?
She's kind of like a perverted elf with kind of moth
A
elements.
hyper. Yeah.
Whereas her true apostle form, you're fixing to get Deluxe Volume 6.
Yes.
You'll get to see it.
Yeah, this sometime this week I'm gonna go pick it up at the store.
But basically, Jill's like, she don't know, like she couldn't become an elf, and then Rosine's like, why not? And she's thinking about it. And then Jill brings up like, does she have a thing for guts? And she thinks about, she don't know anything about him. But then Rosine's like, yeah, he won't ever make it towards us because the valley is guarded by some dependable grown-ups. They would never hurt us, and they're actual real grown-ups, protectors of children, the forest guardians, you'd say. Now you remember in what happened to Rickert and the Band of the Hawk, the other half of the Band of the Hawk that got murdered
During the night of the eclipse.
Yep. Before the eclipse, during the festival eve.
Oh, right.
It's the first time you see Rosine and the count, or not. You see Rosine, but you also get the count.
Yeah, the skeleton head rider. You mean
The what?
the skeleton head? We see them before they disappear.
The Skull Knight shows up in there, and that's how Rickard ends up staying alive. That's where you first meet Rosine and stuff. Remember the little bug people and shit, and they had the Band of the Hawk in a ball?
Yeah.
Well, here's the bandits from earlier. They're pseudo-apostles. She turns the adults into pseudo-apostles to protect them. In which we get this.
Oh, man, that's...
And you can already tell something's not fucking right with these people.
You think?
Yeah, and then I just love Guts' line, from bandits to babysitters, huh? From human to something else by the looks of it.
I just love this. Guts is in Guts mode. That's when he's truly happy.
Yeah, I love the fight where they're like, the little one and the other dude jump at him, and he shoots him with his crossbow and stuff, and then they transform into their apostle forms. And they're like this weird fucking human face with bugs and shit, like fully bugs.
Yeah.
And this fight was great as well. Where you just fucking up these dudes.
Good old slashing in half again.
Yeah, it never gets old. The Dragon Slayer is always great. And then he ends up getting pinned to the fucking tree by like this big ass bug one. Which this bug was putting in so much pressure and shooting blood out his mouth. His eyes were going up into his head, trying to break through the tree and cut into Guts' neck.
Yeah, I had a bit more difficulty getting involved in this fight, just simply coming out of the eclipse. Like I was so overwhelmed, such an emotional high in the story that afterwards I was kind of like, whoa, okay. What I still need to kind of digest, everything that happened with the eclipse. It was so intense.
It's still a good
Process.
fight.
Process is the word I was looking for.
Yeah, it's still a good fight.
Yeah.
But he managed to shoot this fucking bug to the dead. But the bug ends up dying, or bug apostle dude. But another one is crawling down the tree and about to get Guts. And He does the good old stick it with the fucking sword and then slash up, kill.
Yeah, he's using his same old tricks.
Yes, he's fixing to learn a really good trick, and then all the other adult
This looks nice, man. Look at this.
guardians.
Look at this. All the silhouettes, they're so creepy. You got the mist, right? The misty valley. You can really
Yep.
feel it.
God, it's great. It's creepy as fuck as well. Also, you can see all their dinglings in the silhouette.
But in silhouette, yeah.
Yeah. Look at these.
Can't see nothing, but then again, you ain't hiding nothing either.
The thing is, when you go back to the older and Berserk and shit, Mirror, like, he just basically drew mannequins.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, like, he's like, no, he's got to draw. He draws the penis always now. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big difference you see in French comics as well with American comics. Like, the Americans will always hide the genitalia in a strategic, a strategic way, a shadow or something in the foreground, but the French don't care. The same as this, they're like,
Well,
yeah, fine, it's part of it.
Well, like I said in earlier Berserk, he did actually kind of hide. Like, he would just do mannequin.
Yeah, he made a
But we're now to
switch
the
and
point
something.
where he just basically said, fuck it.
We've seen enough at this point. If we made it here.
I know, I'm just saying. You just notice at a certain while, you're like, all right, now there's penises all of a sudden. There's always been boobs.
I mean, the penis is mostly like started out with the fucking apostles, right?
No. Well, there was like none. There was just tits. But we get back to this fight in which. Now, the reason why I love this fight, we don't get to see Guts use his crossbow that much in this series. Even later on. He doesn't use it as much as you think he would. We get to see him fucking just lighting up these bug apostles and everything. Got him sitting there doing this. Sitting there rotating, shooting everything.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, and the only ones that share looks are pseudo apostles.
Dead bugs are great, man. It's so
I love it.
satisfying. It's so satisfying to kill bugs.
Yeah, this is the only time where we get like that and like astral beings later on, or like the only time that he uses the same designs. But they're still great, and they're fucking creepy. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that dude's face.
Nice detail. Yeah, he's just whack job now. That's Berserk mode right there. Look at that. Like, he doesn't give a shit. It's just like you can see the emotion in the inker. Like, the inker is not trying to draw clean anymore. He's like, the inker's putting in the dynamism and the rage into the strokes.
Yeah, I should have got the page where he first pulls out the Dragon Slayer. Because that one looked really good in this fight. But you got it. He's fixing to go. Then we cut to Puck. And this is still not full chestnut Puck.
Yeah, but see, that's too much for me. I'm like, okay, this really breaks the style, right? Everything looks beautiful throughout this book, and then this looks kind of just oversimplified and just kind of lazy.
I'm fine with it as long as it's not fully common and constant, and it isn't for the most part in the series ain't constant. So I have no problems with these. There's little comedy bits, and how we got chibi versions of the God Hand.
Yeah, I mean, every time I see a page like that, it just throws me out of the story a little bit. But then, boom, you're back into it because it's so good.
Did I miss a page that's supposed to send to Otter? Either way, Puck makes it to Misty Valley. And then decides he's going to head in there because Jill's there to find her. Then we cut back to Guts after his battle with the Bug Apostles.
Cleaning up. Look at that.
They're just bodies strewn everywhere.
So this is his first time using his new arsenal against
No,
against pseudo apostles. No,
no.
he's used them with the haunting spirits in the field. I guess.
He's used it with apostles,
boy.
pseudo apostles, and
Pig boy. Yeah.
spirits. Well, to keep in mind, this is. I'm just gonna say a month after Black Swordsman art, and that's 2 years after Golden Age, the Eclipse and stuff.
That makes sense.
So, like, he's had a lot of time using this stuff.
He's out of it, man. Like he's instant rage.
Yep, and then these two dudes before they transform, they're like, "Are you really human?" when they're looking at guts. And then they decide to go ahead and transform into this. This we have seen both of these, by the way, before the eclipse. This one and this one were the ones who were definitely attacking the Band of the Hawk and killing them.
Oh right, they're the ones that killed the half of the band, right?
Right. Yeah, Guts goes to fight this one. Yet the Mantis is really fucking quick, and the Rhino Beetle dude is really, really strong. And he's trying to take on both of them at the same time. I mean, he's kind of getting fucked up. Yeah.
He never gets easy for him.
Right, but he will, from this fight in a little bit, he will actually learn one of his best techniques.
Which one?
Where we'll get to it.
We'll get to it. Right.
When he gets to learning how to use the momentum from his cannon blast for a sword strike.
Yeah.
It's like the best technique. He uses it throughout the rest of the entire series.
I don't recall, like in the first volume, did he rage as much? Like, did he go for
yes.
full berserk mode? He did.
Yes, during the battle with the second chapter with the skeletons dudes and everything, spirits that were possessing the dead bodies.
Yeah, I'll have to revisit that.
Yep, he goes berserk mode on that and was murdering them. Now it's earlier drawings, and most of it's usually using the shadowed out face and the glowing eye, versus how he's doing it now.
Yeah, that's what I figured. There was an evolution.
I'm trying to remember also. I mean, I think maybe during the second Zondark fight or whatever. Been a while. But we cut back to this in which they're burying the children, the former pseudo apostles.
Oh man, it's weird. Like the feeling you got for the townspeople who just lost all their children.
Right, but this ain't even just their children. These are like other town villages' children as well.
Oh, this is a mass.
Because Rosine's like taking from multiple villages, like a shit ton. But we got the Holy Iron Chain Knights showing up, which is Farnese. That's Farnese. That's Add-on. That's Serpico.
Yeah, they're full on regalia costume. You could tell they're representing.
Yeah, to basically give you an idea, she's completely incompetent. The only reason she's there is because her family is like one of the richest ones that donate to the church. Okay. And they make her the figurehead because the figurehead's always supposed to be a woman. Every one of these are just like noble sons that the families that donate to the church don't want them to get involved in foreign wars. Right, so they get sent to this fake like organization. The only one that's actually, these two are actually know how to fight and do shit.
Yeah, there's got to be some guards who know their shit if they're all royalty or whatever.
He's not. Well, they're not. Well, they're nobility.
Nobility.
None of them are royalty. But Sir Add-on, He's the only one who actually is experienced, and he's actually an honorable knight and shit. But they get there, and then Farnese is basically telling them about the stuff that about the after the eclipse 2 years ago, and that they're looking for the Black Swordsman. You know, and that possessions have been going on lately, and all this other stuff in famine. But some of that's horseshit. But all the stories from like villages getting murdered and shit, and having a bunch of people die, it's always with this dude. You know,
Right.
and
He's always in the periphery.
and it does something I think is really great. Guts is not for the most part, he's not murdering innocent people, albeit he has murdered innocent guards and shit that were just doing their job.
Yeah,
But
it has happened.
he's been fighting apostles. Well, the thing is, just like you see these children, even if they were like a lot of us pseudo apostles, they transform back into their human form. So anyone who would come across these villages just see like murdered people.
Yeah, he looks like a
Round
child
about.
killer from their point of view.
Right. And that's basically, yeah, here's Serpico and Adam. See what they look like.
I mean, they're not entirely wrong. It's just not to the extent that we're seeing here.
They are wrong in the sense that he's just doing this because he's a maniac. That he's actually like fighting apostles. That's why.
No, what I
it's
meant is
happening.
he has killed children in the past in the sense that he is a
Yeah, well,
child
I mean-
killer in a sense, but
Yeah,
not in this
he has
particular
done it.
case. Not in mass like this.
But to be fair, that was on an accident. That wasn't like he was intending to kill the child.
Yeah, I know, but it's that weird gray line, right?
Right. But, you know, they're basically saying that, or is he just a crazy person or whatever, or exaggerated, or he's connected to their religion? Because she kind of
Yeah,
has
because
a thing.
everything was linked with the eclipse as well as the what's the name of the angel hawk thingamajig?
The Hawk of Darkness.
Yeah, Hawk of Darkness.
Yep.
So yeah, they're definitely like investigating on a religious angle as well as inspecting from like a criminal angle as well, I suppose.
Yep. And then the priest, you know, he's talking to her too. That's who she's talking to. And then basically he's like, yeah, this man really did like do some crazy shit. And then he's like, you know, I can't ask anyone to follow you, but I'd like you know, would have liked to send someone with you as a guide. And then Jill's piece of shit father really speaks up, and he wants to go along because he gets to play army soldier again like he used to in his golden days. He comes home, you know, get on his find his armor to put on and shit. This guy's a real piece of shit. I fucking hate Jill's father. Then we cut back to Guts fighting the Beetle and Mantis Knight. Still having problems.
These are the least interesting demons. Like I think they're just straight up insects. They're not. To
Well,
me,
keep
they're
in
not
mind they're also
interesting.
pseudo apostles, not apostles.
Yeah,
So
yeah. No,
I
I'm
don't
just
really
like,
expect.
sort of that's kind of my feedback from this the beginning of this arc is that I'm still like in the after reverberations of the previous arc. That's still kind of it was so huge.
So here's what I'll tell you: these are pseudo apostles. So they're just really just supposed to be bug people. But you will get like unique stuff, more so spirits than apostles, and spirits you can really have fun with and do whatever the fuck, you know.
For sure.
But you know, Guts cannot kill the one dude with one hit, and he can't hit the fucking Mantis either. So then he's trying to figure out, you know, how can he hit both of them at the same time? Well, he's like, oh yeah, I used my cannon to blast one in the face and use the momentum to slash the other motherfucker.
He is smart. He's always put his his noggin to use, try to become a better warrior.
Yep, and it is the single most effective fucking.
Boom! Look at that energy in this fucking page, man. the fire, the flames, they're going in every which direction. You can see
Look
the
at his cloak.
movement spiraling, the blood splattering. Everything is in movement. There's no like static outline in the whole page. Everything is kind of a movement line that gives the shape of the figures we see.
I also love. Okay, it's not really apparent in this one, but Mirror has gotten so good at drawing cloaks and how they flow and shit now, compared to like early Berserk and stuff, where they're
Yeah.
kind of stiff. Plus, the cloak is all ripped the fuck up as well. But this is, by the way, the single most effective move in Berserk.
That is good.
You will see many panels like this later on.
Sweet. Was that
Which is
the
great.
end?
Well, it's the end of this chapter. We got the next one, which
Right.
we get that 2-page spread of it. I just gotta pull it up. God damn it!
Pull up.
Pull up, pull up. NDA.
No disrespect.
Oh, hold up. Takes a little bit longer than what I would like. All right. I love this cover page, by the way.
What's going on in the background there? Like,
I have no clue, but I
It's
like
like-
this.
magical effects. You like her riding the bug with the food?
That's
and-
not a she. That's Puck.
Oh, that's Puck.
Yeah, it's Puck riding the little beetle with the watermelon.
I thought
Then we
Puck
get
was
back to it
bigger
with our
than that.
2-page spread.
Boom! Right in the action again.
In which we get the top shot of this. Look at this dude's eyes.
I'm just looking at the fucking sword, dude. Look how you can draw a sword without drawing the fucking lines of the shape of the sword. There's no like outline to the fucking sword. That's maddening, man. I can't fathom doing that. I'll have to try it just to see.
I wonder how he did it.
Yeah, I'd love to see some making of Berserk, but I don't think it exists.
I don't think so either. It's just like I think like most of his interviews are all text, not actual video or anything. That's how a lot of manga artists are.
Yeah, they don't have the culture of stardom and that kind of artistry. I don't know how would I call it.
Yeah. And Guts is just he's fucked up from these fighting shit. But luckily he has some elf dust in his pocket where Puck's been laying.
Yeah, that's very video game. I like that. Out of power. Grab the elf dust. Okay,
Well-
we're full throttle. Let's go.
Well, to be fair, he was he didn't expect to find the elf dust in there. He just Puck's been sleeping in there so long he's collected a lot of dust. Which kind of tells you that Puck's a lazy fuck.
But it's
He doesn't
yeah,
clean up in the pouch, you know?
he's fucking good luck though.
Yes. And then Guts also he doesn't really want to use it, but he's like, all right, fuck it, and then uses it. And then also all the bodies of the pseudo apostle humans start transforming back, and they're just murdered human corpses everywhere, body parts. Then we cut into the actual Misty Valley, in which we get
so peaceful.
in which we still get the pseudo kind of chestnut Puck.
Look at how photorealistic the plants are. Look
He's
at
gotten
those-
way better with drawing environments.
Look at the
and stuff.
lilies on the fucking water. The water's so calm and quiet. See, you don't even have to fucking draw ripples on it. It's just fucking sleeping. Oh, it's beautiful. I love it.
He's gotten a whole lot better with his environments and stuff. The
Yeah.
next deluxe volume, I think, has one of his best environments, which are mountains. There's like some mountains he does that look absolutely jaw dropping. The guts, Puck is still trying. He tries to infiltrate the other ones. They're playing with an eyeball.
Oh yeah. See that breaks the style in my
The top one I don't like, but
my head.
the
Yeah.
regular silly ones I'm fine with. The top one I do just because it's. Come on, Mirror. We don't need Sharpie. We don't need just Sharpie drawing. That was done in like 2 minutes. Like these, I'm fine with. They don't really bother me.
Yeah, I don't really care how long it takes to do something as long as it looks good, and I just don't think that looks good on a page. But you quickly forget it. You with him, you turn the page, and then he gives you something like absolutely sensational. So you're quick to forget those.
Yeah, and then Puck sees that, and he sees Rosine and Jill down there. When Puck gets closer to it, it actually he gets kind of like sees visions of the past of other elves that used to be there because there were actually elves in Misty Valley at one point.
Okay.
So it actually wasn't bullshit. The story of Misty Valley elves,
So there's background lore to this.
right? So it was true at one point. There was. This scene looks so great, dude.
See, that's what I mean. It's so realistic. Like you'd never see this in American manga or very, very rare American comics. Sorry, but you will see some Europeans do this.
I think it's you. I think it's mostly indie comics where you'll see environments like this.
Yeah, yeah. The indie space is, but because mainstream American comics is very industrial and fast paced, so it doesn't permit you to kind of. I mean, even the Japanese are pretty quick, though, right? This might be an assistant job or something.
For Mira on this one.
I wonder. I'm just,
So Mira was a bit different than other manga artists. He done most of the heavy lifting himself. This also Berserk wasn't a week to week manga. It was started out with I think a
Oh,
bi-weekly, and I think by this point it was more than every 2 weeks it was taken.
okay.
It's like it's when the hiatus is in the longer it took longer for chapters to come out. But how do I put it? And this comes from his like assistants and him before, and you can find older interviews. Basically, he's like, "Yeah, my assistants, I'd give them the draw like little people, like they would probably draw some of these elves, or not elves, pseudo elves and shit in the background. You know, they do some of the inking and stuff, but like, he'd have them do like little stuff. Like I think it's he said like 90% him, and then like the 10% is the rest of his assistants doing it.
That's incredible.
Because he was training them to actually with a different manga to get better with their art style and stuff, so he can step back more on it before he died.
Which he did.
Yes, and then we once again get Rosine trying to convince Jill to turn into an elf, and that this
Don't
is
you want to be a magical creature too? Look at your boring life with your, in your village with people trying to rape you all the time. Don't you want to be flying in the sky with us and be magical?
yeah. And then Rosine's like, yeah, if I
saw
knew
you
Miss
there."
Valley was this great and peaceful, I would have came here a long time ago.
Yeah. They look so
Oh,
happy.
boy.
It's not
Yeah,
gonna
so happy
last.
before darkness comes.
Exactly.
Till she finds out how they're made. Puck comedy is funny. Yeah, for the most part. It's later on in the series where I feel like he doesn't get enough serious moments.
He kind of breaks the tension that builds up with the dark energy of Guts.
No, I'm fine with that. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it was
Later
great.
on, he
Yeah,
kind of
indeed.
like. Have you even noticed in this one, he's actually pushing back Guts and then telling Guts, "Hey, this is wrong what you're doing and stuff, or how you're acting." And that's how Guts bounces off with, or Puck bounces off with Guts. Later on in the
It,
series,
it also
he's
gives their narrator a voice saying, like, okay, this, what our main character is doing is not ethical. It's not right. We have another character pointing it out. Because if Buck wasn't there, you start, he looks more heroic, or the violence looks more, endorsed, right? At least when Puck's there saying, "Hey, this isn't right. This isn't right." The story becomes more balanced in a way, just by pointing out that the bad action.
right. And then we start this chapter. I think just this chapter and the next one we'll be done. But Rosine basically is like, "Hey, have you decided you want to become one of us?" Jill's like, "I don't know about that." Then Rosine just says, "Oh, spend a night thinking over it, you know." And asking her, "Was there any fun in the village? Anything more fun than flying in the sky?"
Exactly, exactly. It's tempting, man. Like I can see her really not wanting to go back to her village.
Right. And then Puck is basically like shows up and is basically talking to her and stuff, and then exaggerating that he had to kill 15, no, 18, no, 20 elves to get to her. And then she asked about Guts, Mr. Swordsman. And Puck's like, I'm done with him. I'm tired of him and shit. He almost cut through you last time. And she's like, oh, so that was true. I wonder. And Puck is like, yeah. And then that's when she's like, yeah, I've been asked to. And, you know, uh, she asked him what should he do. Or, ask Puck what she should do.
Yeah.
And Puck is basically like, what should you do? They're monsters. They ain't, they sure ain't real elves. They attack and eat humans.
Yeah.
Didn't you say so yourself? And she's like, I guess so.
It's not a good
But she's
idea.
like, they're having fun. It's so peaceful. And also, attacking and eating humans is what wolves do too. Maybe that's just what you do when you're not a human.
She's
Guts
trying
is
to
like,
justify it. Yeah.
yeah. Puck is like, what the fuck? He said, wolves don't do that except in special occasions. And hey, everyone here used to be. And then she keeps going on with her thing, being like, you know, basically revealing that her father's friend did try to rape her that night. That's when she escaped. And her village sucks. You know, she's feeling sad. And then Puck is telling her that nobody knows what the future holds, and besides your mother. And then she goes on a diatribe being like, yeah, her mother. Yeah, maybe she'll end up like her mother, who just gets beaten and does nothing and even lets her child get beaten and just cowers and cries.
Right.
And then she's grabbing Puck and then squeezing him. Or she's like, she's going to be her father. She's just going to abuse her stuff.
She's just in a terrible conundrum. Like, this is a horrifying situation she finds herself in.
Right. Like, it's just not going well. But after she accidentally hurts Puck a little bit and then drops in and gets out of her thing there, she notices the little elf children getting ready to play war.
Oh, yeah, that's that scene is memorable.
Jill's like, it looks so real. Oh, bitch, it is real.
Yeah, what is happening here?
Look how disturbing this is. They're all smiling while they're getting like speared in the fucking mouth. Look at this. Two of them skewered.
They're totally possessed.
Oh, look
Sent
at
to their
that.
death.
This looks so great, by the way.
So is she like controlling them?
No, remember, she's turning them into pseudo apostles. They're not human anymore. They're not real. They're not themselves anymore.
Right.
And since they're pseudo apostles, they're fucked up and evil.
Just
know what I
by
mean?
nature. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
She's not like forcing them to do this. They're just doing it because fuck it, why not? Because
They've
it's supposed to be like taking childhood like stuff to the extreme. I did not show this panel, but there's one elf that runs away, and then the other one chases him down, throws him to the ground, and says adult attack," and then stings the other one to death. And
Yowza.
yeah, and then we get this.
Ah, damn, that's dope, man.
Fucking
Look at
great
that.
silhouettes.
That would
spurts
be
of blood.
See, this would look great in color, man. That could be like one of the most fucking. But I mean, not that it doesn't work in black and white. Like it works perfectly, but it's
How
just so
creepy these faces are. The way he's drawing
so
it.
striking. They're totally psychotic, man. It's like the evil revealing itself.
Right, she's realizing, oh, if I turn in an elf, we're gonna fucking murder each other. That didn't work out.
But she wants to turn her into another kind of.
She doesn't know that yet. Right now, she just knows that's what she's wanting to be turned into. Then we get the adult attack. The elves are giving up a body, one of the bodies of the other elf pseudo apostles, and being like, eat, and then she fucking knocks them away. Well, they didn't like that. You also see one of the boys who got SA'd. He turned back into his normal form after he died. Then we get the corpses of all the children.
Yeah.
Transforming back.
That's kind of traumatizing.
And then look how creepy this one's mortifying, but this one's fucking scary. It just has a simple silhouette.
Yeah.
Just their eyes.
Children of the Corn.
Yeah. Like they're getting really pissed because she hit them. She isn't. They don't know if she's a friend. They said they're a friend. Puck is like, yeah, it's time to get the fuck out of here. Start running. This is so fucking great. Poor Rosie, or not Rosie, Jill. She just can't catch a break. All right, let me get the final chapter on here. 1010 Cocoons. This chapter has disturbing shit as well.
Right. They all do, right? There's not, or very rarely do you have like a wholesome chapter.
Yeah, so far. Also, conviction in a whole gets really dark. But we got it pulled up. We start Cocoons, which they're still running. The fog's getting thick. They end up running into the cocoons and stuff.
Yeah, that just looks like it wants to be set on fire.
Yeah, Puck is like, it's either a new kind of fruit, and he touches one of them, and then you see, oh, there's the pseudo apostles emerging, the little elf ones.
It's like demon fruit.
Yep, and they're surrounded by them, and then Rosine shows up, and I wish I grabbed the page. She has like the upper half of her. He draws her silhouette and makes her really look sinister when she's talking. Not in these ones, but the other ones. But she's basically telling Jill that like these are where the children are reborn as elves. and asking her why she ran away, why she's scared, and all this other stuff. And then Jill's like, "Hey, they're fucking killing each other."
Why are you scared? You don't like?
Rosine's response is, "Oh, you mean playing war? Even humans are always doing that." Oh, right, humans. Human children are cowards. It's all right if you become an elf. It's not scary. It's fun to go all out. Jill's like, but you die, so it's not really playing. It's really killing your own friends.
Yeah.
Like Rosine's giving this whole diatribe about humans being shit. So it doesn't matter.
It's kind of like she's a Pied Piper figure, like getting the kids out of the villages. But the thing is, they're falling into demons' hands.
Right, and they're being forcefully changed into... They're being murdered and turned into pseudo-apostles, which are... It's really fucked up. But she's basically saying, if you go back to your home, you're probably going to get caught up in a war. You don't have to deal with... if you're here, you don't have to deal with hunger, cold, beatings, and all this other shit, and how this is such a great place, and you should totally be there. And this is when she's like talking about the sky, and she's like, all right, she'll make her an extra special elf. Strong, pretty, and no one will be able to hurt you. Yeah. Here's the thing. Jill does not say yes. She's automatically using the paralyzed stuff, the hypnotic stuff, on Jill.
Right.
Like Jill's like, she's getting really tired and shit. Because she's fixing to forcefully turn her into an elf. Into a cocoon. And to the point where we get like a panel of her like metaphorically in the cocoon and saying, oh, well, it doesn't matter, what she was trying to think of. Because Rosine's forcing it. She's not asking.
Yeah, no, she's kind of manipulating her mind, yeah.
And then, luckily...
That's gross.
Luckily, one of the bodies just splats. And it's half digested and melted.
Ugh.
Like Puck was trying to stop Rosine from doing it, and then Rosine was fixing to kill Puck. But fire caused that thing to splat to the ground.
It looks so authentic, man. It looks real.
God, look at the fucking teeth detail.
Yeah, it looks like
the spine,
a splattered grape, and mixed with a fetus. It's just it's not pretty to look at.
It's so great. I love Jill's reaction. She's just a perfect response to being like, "What the?"
Horrified, yeah.
Rosine's like, look at Rosine's like, Jesus fuck. She actually saw what happens.
Like, oh no.
Yep, and then there's just flames going off. It's a great table page spread as well. And you can see guts right here.
Where?
Right here.
Oh yeah. That's
because you see him right there, and then the next page is this.
Yeah.
Top.
You can almost hear the music blaring, like dramatic, like enter the hero or not hero.
Yes, enter. I'm fixing to kill these motherfuckers and burn this place down. I lit all these trees on fire.
Which is kind of what you want to do with these horrible things.
Right. I can't believe, Christian, it took him this long to find out Guts only has one eye.
I mean, sometimes things fall below the radar, right? There's a lot of shots.
It'd be funny if Christian's like, I always thought Guts had two arms as well.
Well, he does have, it looks like you can interpret his robot arm like an armor, but when you look closely, you can tell it's not.
Well, there's also explicit scenes of him punching people in the mouth with clearly a robot arm or metal arm.
And he does take it off once or twice, I believe.
Yeah, Rosine sends out her little pseudo apostles, and Guts just knocks a bunch of the fucking burning tree, or knocks over a burning tree onto him. They're getting
Whoosh.
cooked. And then we end the chapter with this.
There you go.
We got this, the fucking flame, and I love this one. Where Jill Puck's getting them to go out of there, and she's like, "Why for an instant? For an instant, swaying inside the blaze, he was, he was the one who looked more like a terrifying monster to me."
Yeah, yeah.
And I love this drawing of the flame blaze kind of shadow thing.
With just one eye.
Yes, this was great. Alrighty, I think that's all for Deluxe Volume 5.
Wow, that was a big one, right?
Yes, that was a lot.
Oh man, there's a lot of content in this one.
Well, it was me and you, Frederick, who made it and lasted.
Yes, yeah. I mean, like I said, I had to take a break after this one. I told you, like, I'm not buying 6 until the whole group kind of catches up because I had read this one like a while back. And yeah, it's kind of draining emotionally. You really go into intense territory with the whole Griffith Dark Angel arc, the Eclipse. I was ready for like, okay, let's just back off and let's assimilate some of what we just read and went through, and because it's kind of intense stuff.
Stuff's fixing to ramp right back up with Conviction.
Oh, good.
Like you're already starting to see why Conviction is kind of my favorite. The imagery, like the fucking creepy imagery and shit of like either the monsters and all that, or like the little tiny elves. That's a perfect example. Like the weirdness or the how well it's drawn and creepy it's pulled off. A lot of Conviction has a lot of that
Oh, interesting.
and drawn really well.
Yeah, you were saying the art gets better in these spots.
Yes. I mean, you can already see it,
Yeah, no, for
but it
sure.
keeps getting better. This thing.
I mean, it makes sense. More experience, you're drawing the same characters a lot of the time, so you got to improve.
Yeah, like he does change. Like I've showed you, I've shown you pictures of like stuff in Millennium Falcon and like some late, like even his hand drawn pictures and shit. Non spoiler ones, but I was showing you like the buildings. You can see that he uses a lot of gray later on,
Yeah. Yeah, the
unless
Zipatone
I'm just
stuff.
keeping it
Yeah.
white. But alrighty.
Woo! What a ride.
All right, you got
So-
anything you would like to say before we wrap this up?
It's like, man, what an epic adventure. Like, this is why people talk about Berserk. Like, it's such a huge, momentous, epic, not just in scale, but in depth. Like, what the character, the trials they go through are all on all fronts in their lives. Like, they're challenged in their family, in their relationships, and in epic wars, they're brought into huge, contact with demonic forces. It's everything is thrown at these people and they survive. They make it through, and it's an incredible story to go through with them.
Right. Plus, the art keeps getting better and better. He's
fucking
a pretty good writer as well. On top of that, along with his storytelling, like visually,
it just flows naturally, and it feels simple. Like you never feel that you're in some convoluted story. Like never feels overly complicated. You always follow one simple thread, and it leads you to the natural conclusion. Which, not to say that the story itself doesn't have complex layers, because it does, but the way he takes you through the different parts of the story is just
Right.
so natural. It just flows.
well, it's like how Berserk in general is mostly simple plots. Just simple plots, but big character development, and, like subtleties with the characters and shit,
Yeah,
and their interactions and relationships,
yeah.
motives.
It's incredible to see someone who does everything so well, like the art, the writing. He's a he's a one man mangaka army.
Right. Well, he's got assistants.
Yeah,
Oh, I forgot to mention, uh, the during the Eclipse stuff, the dude, his best friend, the one who actually sat down and tried to think of all the stuff him and Mira talked about towards the ending of Berserk and all that stuff.
yeah.
And he's the one who gave off the notes for them to actually script it for the
Right.
finish the series.
I remember you telling me
He
that.
was
Yeah.
he was helping draw the Eclipse with Mira. Mira asked him, brought him in
Oh,
to draw
interesting.
the help draw the whole thing.
Cool.
Because I mean, you can see with the early into the Eclipse and all this shit, there was a lot, like, a shit ton of different like, and you can't just repeat it either because every apostle is unique. So like every one he had to have on page, and he wanted to have a shit ton of them. Well, you know,
Yeah, dude, like the fucking pages, the double page spreads with grass, with every blade of grass drawn and fucking shadows in it. There's a lot of like he didn't hold back. I think that's what you really get from Berserk. It's like he did not hold anything back in terms of story, in terms of drama, in terms of art, in terms of even going into nudity and difficult topics and stuff. Like he just did everything to the max. Like it's impressive to see it
also
all on 11.
later on he draws a pike line, like the big giant spears, pikemen.
Yeah.
Later on, you have a scene with that, and there's like, it's got to be like 100 something fucking spears on screen. Fucking 2-page spread and shit. 100 and something.
Yeah, he doesn't. It's the type of thing that you write in your story, and then you find yourself drawing, and then you're like, "Why did I do? Why did I write this?"
Some of the scenes later on, like, because I got 11 and 12, and I forgot how batshit insane Millennium Falcon gets with the drawings. Like the amount of shit that's on a page. To the point where I'm like, at some point, Mirror had to be like, why? Why did I choose this?
Yeah, I mean, he brought it on himself, so no one to blame.
But alrighty. Well,
Yeah,
me and
guess,
Frederick, we made it to the end. It was a long stream, but this was fun.
yeah. So
And I think
here's looking to the
Deluxe
next
Volume
one.
6 will be on Christian's channel
Okay.
when we'll be scheduling it. But alrighty. I'm tired. Goodbye.
Goodbye. See you later.
Adios. Gotta press the end.